Kumar, but it's our own Kumar.
Apparently, there's only one Kumar.
That's true. That is true.
One and only one, huh?
Okay.
What is the order of the team the same as you sent the list in, or is it going to be some random order?
It's the same.
It's the same. Okay, that way we are a little more prepared. As they come in.
And the same PPT, Kumar, the same PPT that we sent for judges have the link for the form. So
Wait. What is it?
the PPT we sent for all the judges has the link for the evaluation form.
Oh, I see. That's.
Oops.
Can all of you mute? Thank you. So the presentation mode, Nihar.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we should just say ready, set, go, Radhika and Tina.
Okay, we're good to go.
Tina, you ready?
Yes.
Do it. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to TYE University Local Pitch Fest. Thank you all for joining the event that highlights these amazing young entrepreneurs and their businesses. I'm Radhika Iyengar, and I'm a board member at TYE Silicon Valley and a co-convener at Virtual TYECon 2020, and really excited to be here with you today. Tina?
I'm Tina Shah-Paikade. I am a TYE charter member and lead the Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Services practice globally at Russell Reynolds Associates. Really delighted to have a chance to be here today as well.
Awesome. And so we've got a great schedule for you today. Can we get things kicked off? So we've got the TYE Local Finals event, and that would not have happened without TYE Silicon Valley division. So thank you for that. Over to you, Tina.
Yeah, and here is AGK, who's the president-elect of TYE Silicon Valley. Over to you, AGK.
Yeah, thank you, Radhika and Tina. It's wonderful to be participating in this Young Entrepreneur Pitch Fest event. TYE Silicon Valley supports different demographics, and youth is an important part. So we have programs for high school students, and this is a great thing for college students. And TYE itself is all about, and it's got 4 pillars. We focus on educating the entrepreneur, providing them the necessary guidance through mentoring sessions. We also have networking events and also funding through TYE Angels and all that. So it's and we also make very good introductions to venture capital and other funding resources like Silicon Valley Bank and that. So TYE itself has been around for 28 years. It's got global reach. We've got charter members are the backbone of TYE. Though we started in Silicon Valley back in '92, now we have a global organization with 61 chapters. And for TYE to, perform or deliver all its services, we need to have various constituents, charter members being one of them, our sponsors being another, and members, of course, and the last but not least, the volunteers, and who have put together this amazing program. And the way to look at it is this is a great experience for the presenting companies today to get the leverage from the TYE network. I strongly urge everybody to be a member and try to grow with the organization. Personally, myself, I got introduced to TYE back in 1995 and have been associated with TYE as a regular member, then eventually charter member, board member, and now I get to lead the organization with support from the board and everybody else starting January. So welcome. Looking forward to a great event today. Thanks.
Thank you, AGK. And let's not forget TYE University and TYE, the founders who've helped to put this event in the first place, and the Sri Chadavalada and Reena Gupta, Vasudha Badripal, and the founders of the SV program leaders of TYE Young Entrepreneur Program.
Thanks, Radhika. Thank you very much for the introduction. Entrepreneurship is hard, yet we need more entrepreneurs to take on the world's complex problems. We also need to nurture entrepreneurship to continue to make Silicon Valley the innovation leader. We have set out with an ambitious goal of supporting young entrepreneurs. The mission of Young Entrepreneur Program is to inspire, mentor, and connect young entrepreneurs to the industry leaders. It took a village to put this event together. Several leaders and volunteers contributed to the success of this event. We'd like to thank Naeem, Paul, Alok, and Abhi for being gracious advisors. We'd also like to thank Jade for stepping up to be the program coordinator and for all the volunteers that supported this program. Next slide, please. We have a great list of events planned for this year. First, the university track. At the conclusion of this event, the winner of this local competition will be representing Silicon Valley chapter in the global competition. The global competition will be held in September 2020. Then we enter next calendar year, and we are looking to recruit students like you in the next cohort. The program will be kicked off in November timeframe. Please spread the word with your friends and students at your university. Second track is events. We are planning to conduct bi-monthly meetups catering to young entrepreneurs. Our goal is to create a community so that you guys can share your stories and also for us to share inspirational stories from young entrepreneurs, and also to connect you with serial entrepreneurs that can contribute to your success. Third is the high school track. While this may not be an interest for the team on the call, we have a program focused on high school students based out of Silicon Valley region. We have an academy where we teach high school students, share tools, and help these kids develop pitches for their product ideas. Next, I would like to ask Vasudha to share more about the outcomes of this event. Back to you, Vasudha.
Hi, everyone. I'm waiting for the slide, but a little bit about me. I work with TYE, the parent company, parent organization for their marketing initiative for their annual event, TYECon. And with TYE, I'm more recent. I'm heading marketing and sponsorship. And personally, I currently work with Intel, heading their open source community for Visual Cloud. Yeah, next slide, please. I think we're in the wrong slide. Okay, so I was very, very thrilled to get a sponsor for this university at the last minute. Jyoti Bansal graciously came in and he said he would be happy to help us, and he did sponsor this event. He is very well known in the entrepreneurship community, a real success story. He's the CEO and co-founder of Harness, and also the co-founder of Unusual Ventures, but this is through his foundation, Jyoti Bansal Foundation. The first prize, everybody likes prizes, right? So the first prize is $1,000 for the winners. The second prize is $600, and the third place is $400. We also have additional prizes for the first, second, and third prize winners. We have access to TYE Angels, TYE membership 1 year free, and attendance to TYECon 2020. And for the first and second prize winners, we have mentoring, which is monthly calls for a year, connection to banks, and introductions to banks for their startups, and connections with VCs for the first prize winner. I think we have some exciting prizes for the winners, so let's look forward to this. This is next to you, Reena.
Thank you. Can you hear me, Vasudha? And
I think we can hear you.
okay, wonderful. Thank you, Vasudha and Shri, for an amazing introduction about TYE. And as you all can see, we have an amazing program lined up. But for today, we would like to talk about the teams who are presenting. We have teams from 4 different colleges here, local colleges, and they are all going to come and talk about their business plan and pitch, which is as diverse as from doing an AI to a hydro shirt, and you will be hearing more and more about each of them. We had about 10 teams, and last minute we had one team to not join in, and that also tells us the value of our mentorship. And if you can bring into the next slide, these are our amazing mentors who have taken time from their busy schedule to go over and prep the teams before they are here. So I was mentioning one of the team had to drop off because their mentors thought that they are not ready for it. And that itself is a great way to go back and see the value of the mentorship that we provide. Again, a big thanks to all the mentors if you're here on the call, and you can see they're all very accomplished people. Radhika.
Thanks, Reena. So we can't forget the amazing mentors, as you pointed out. And thank you to Shri and Reena and Vasudha. We're now going to present the wonderful judges for this event, and we'd like them to introduce themselves.
Hi guys, this is Kumar Sriparam. I'm also a charter member and a board member at TYE. I'm also a co-convener along with the fine Radhika here who's doing the MC. And we're hoping to do a great TYECon for you. Please stay tuned in on all those things, as our first event is June 24th for the Road to TYECon. Just a little bit about myself. I've been an entrepreneur turned venture capitalist, I would say. And currently I chair the TYE Angels program at TYE Silicon Valley. And I also am a general partner at Elevate Capital. Thank you. And wish all the presenters good luck.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nisha Talagala. I am an entrepreneur. Started out life as a techie, still techie, I guess. I got my PhD from UC Berkeley many years ago in software engineering. I'm now on my second startup. I've been working in the AI space for some time. And I'm looking forward to being here and looking forward to seeing all the great pitches.
Hi, this is Avanish Sahai. I am an executive at Google, where I run the ISV partner ecosystem for Google Cloud. Have been in the Valley for a very long time, started at Oracle, then did consulting at a number of startups. Was at some of the early TYE events in the early 90s, which is probably before many of you were born. And delighted to be here and see how we can continue to flourish entrepreneurship throughout the community.
I'm Vinita Gupta, and in my past life, I would say I used to be a technology entrepreneur when I got my master's from UCLA way back when, and then started working for companies, and then started my company, took it public. My claim to fame is I was the first Indian woman entrepreneur to take a company public in the US. Since then, I have now gotten inspired to write about my experiences, connect the dots, and be more of a journalist. So I'm very much looking forward to this afternoon and hear the pitches of aspiring entrepreneurs. That should be a burning desire, and that was the burning desire in my heart, and I hope it would be in you too as I hear the pitches. Thank you.
Great. Thank you to all the judges. We really appreciate it. Now we're going to turn to the teams on slide 15. Here we have Team GIG from San Jose State University. GIG offers an easier to use and cheaper alternative to other apps that focus on the job market. GIG is an app where one can post any tasks and have it done in minutes by others, making it easy for a job to be done and money to be earned. They pride themselves in focusing between two main groups, job posters and job seekers. Looking forward to hearing from you, Team GIG Pitch is next. Over to you.
MCs, if you can actually manage the time, the team has 10 minutes to present, and then there is 5 minutes for Q&A. Thank you.
And some of us turn off our videos.
Also, if there are any attendees that are presenters, go ahead and just shoot me a message on chat and I'll bring you in as a panelist.
We're ready for Team Gig.
Hello, hi. Can everybody see me?
Yes.
Great. Should I share my screen too?
Yes, please.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you and good evening. If you've ever told yourself, man, I wish I could pay someone to do this for me, boy, have we made an app for you. You see, it wasn't too long ago, I was sitting on a train headed towards Morgan Stanley for my internship. It was pouring rain outside, and I realized I had forgotten my umbrella at home. That's kind of where I had my aha moment as I'm looking around me and I see all these college students on their phones with nothing to do, probably willing to make some extra cash. So that night, I drafted the first prototype of what would become Gig. Gig is an odd job marketplace in the form of an app where you can pay people nearby to do anything for you. You can think of us as a type of OfferUp or LetGo for on-demand services where anybody can post a task and receive offers from people willing to help. Now, we're all familiar with on-demand cabs and food delivery apps, yet there's still no easy way to find quick help for random in-person tasks or odd jobs. And I know you might be thinking, well, what about TaskRabbit or Craigslist? The problem with our competitors is that they offer a tedious, restrictive, and expensive experience. Niche service providers like TaskRabbit and Tackle focus primarily on household chores. They're not odd job friendly. They enforce steep prices, and they restrict the user every step of the way. On the other hand, you've got Craigslist, which is odd job friendly. It is a free marketplace, but I think we can all agree how sketchy it can be, how unreliable, and the fact that they have no transparency or no security of payment. But I'll tell you what really sets us apart. Aside from our beautifully simple to use app interface or how easy it is to make money on our platform. You see, our secret sauce, our focus is on gigs that don't necessarily fit into a category. And we call this the odd job market. Introducing Gig. Whether you are like Tim, who wanted his tree trimmed in San Jose, or Alice, who needed someone to pick up her package because she was busy with her kids, or even Akshat, who just wanted help recording a viral TikTok video. Whoever you are, whatever you need, you can get it done on Gig. So how does it work? Like magic. Anything you need help with, you simply take a picture, title the gig, and set a price. It's so easy, my grandmother can do it. On the other hand, if you're a broke college student like many of us, you can browse gigs in your area, make an offer to help, and in minutes be connected to your next paying opportunity. You see, now more than ever, people want to be their own boss, set their own hours, and do what they like. Over 26 million Americans work in the gig economy, and that number is set to skyrocket, especially with our current economic crisis, with more than 36 million Americans filing for unemployment. Annual spending for on-demand services is valued at $21 billion, with over $8.1 billion coming directly from home service and freelance categories. If even 15% of that business happens through our platform, with our current flat business model of 10% commission, we're looking to make $121 million in annual revenue. Now, we're just getting started, but we are well on our way. We've already launched on both Android and iOS app stores. We've been able to acquire over 2,000 users in less than 2 months, and we currently boast over 400 weekly active users. We've also won a couple of prizes along the way, have graduated from a competitive accelerator, and we're currently in the process of filming our second professionally filmed ad, the first of which I will show you after this presentation. Now, our user acquisition strategy has been primarily push-oriented, meaning we've had a huge presence on social media, focusing on targeted ads, and we've seen a lot of gain from that. Additionally, we've also distributed flyers in San Jose and at San Jose State campus. Also, we've scraped over 60,000 student emails and had a very successful mass email campaign. But my personal favorite, we actually posted on our app a gig that said, if you share our app with your friends and provide us proof, we'll pay you $1. And we were wildly successful at this. Within a day, we had 10 people offering to do this gig. And before you know it, we were being blasted on social media to thousands of people for $1 a post. You see, our team is relentless, but most of all, we're resourceful. And it doesn't hurt that my co-founder and I have significant experience taking products to market and leading teams successfully. We're also advised by wonderful mentors, Michael Girardo from Tesla, Previn Wong from Cisco, and even Samir Saran, founder and CEO of ParkStash. Today, we're honored for the opportunity to win the grand prize of $1,000. Tomorrow, win or lose, we'll be back to work, pushing even harder, investing more into our active marketing campaign, and striving towards our goal of 100 gigs posted by 2021. Currently, we have a press release in the works. We're about to push another app update, and we're ready to publish our second ad. I sincerely hope that you will join us in our mission to help the world help each other. Now, before I show you our viral ad, I just want to say thank you to the judges and all the teams, and good luck to everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I will now be open for questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Team Gig, Ricky in particular. Over to you, judges, if you don't mind sharing the Q&A with this team.
Hi, Ricky. This is Kumar. Good presentation, interesting end there. Well, the first question which comes to my mind is, first, the business opportunity, and maybe you can explain a little bit more about the market size. And I still believe there are a lot of players. I mean, you had Service Advisor, and of course, TaskRabbit, and then several others who are starting to come up. And you also said that Airtasker, the Australian company, is planning to move into the US. So first, what I wanted to know is what kind of market size you're attempting to get into. The second thing is, what is the difference between you and Airtasker in what you're trying to do? So that kind of proves, how good this solution is. And a third question I have is the liability and how you're going to protect yourself against any liability and conflict.
Okay, sure. Thank you for your question. So we are aware of the competition. Airtasker is a very similar service. They are in Australia, as you mentioned. Our goal is to beat them to market in the US. We're gaining significant traction quickly, and we really hope that by focusing more on the millennial market, which tends to be a higher percentage of people that use on-demand services, and by focusing on our odd job niche, we can be serious competition. Aside from that, could you repeat your other question, sir? I'm sorry.
So, I mean, the last question I asked you was about liability and conflict.
Right.
And how you'd resolve that and how your company would be liable if something happens.
Sure thing. Yeah, this is actually probably the question we get asked the most. In terms of security and transparency, whenever somebody wants to interact with somebody to hire them for a gig or post something, the first thing they have to do is set up a payment account with Stripe through their Connect platform. And Stripe there takes their information such as social security number, address, bank information, email, phone number, etc. So we have that going for us in terms of security. Additionally, we are currently in the process of implementing a vetting system where users can fill out, similar to the OfferUp experience, their qualifications and provide even better identification for themselves.
No, so let me clarify further. So let's say someone is out here to wash my Tesla, right?
Uh-huh.
And he botches the job, okay? So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that conflict? And you say you vetted the guy, the one who's a service provider. You vetted him. He's a known guy. He's not criminal or fugitive or whatever. and he is who he's what he says he is. So how do you resolve that conflict?
Sure. As of now, because we're small, we are managing issues internally. But something that's a great incentive for people to be on their best behavior is the fact that we do have a profile and review system. So at the end of each transaction, users are prompted to rate their interaction with this person. And this greatly affects their ratings and their possibility of getting future gigs in future, if that makes sense.
Yeah, what I would suggest is with the help of a mentor or your board of advisors, is to go look at the legal remedies, how to protect yourself. Okay. And that's very important, I think, because otherwise, one such incident could just put you into a lot of trouble. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Nika.
My question is,
oh, go ahead.
Sorry. When you say, is the service provider getting paid before they provide the service, or when does the payment happen?
So the payment happens upon both parties prompting that it's been completed. So basically, when you hire somebody and they accept your offer, then your payment goes into our escrow service.
Got it.
Until both parties confirm that yes, it's been completed, then the payment gets released to the second party.
Is there a rating to all the providers, how good they have been rated, so that when I'm choosing, I'm not just going based on price?
Correct, yeah. So when you apply to a gig, you're actually prompted to put in a message that says why you're qualified to do this gig. Additionally, people who want to hire somebody can go to your profile and view your other reviews and see what kind of ratings you have, your qualifications, etc.
Okay.
Hi, yeah, so great presentation, thank you. One question, are you anticipating that people who, engage suppliers for gigs will continue to engage the same supplier and that would go through you, or do you expect that the established relationship might continue outside of your app?
So we've thought about this a lot, and we've come to the conclusion that inevitably, like in any other service, will happen. There's things that we can do to disincentivize that. For example, we can detect when people are maybe considering going off platform, and we can basically warn, like, hey, if you do this, you're basically foregoing the security of payment, the whole safety of the app. And but we do predict that most gigs, and they have been to this day, are going to be more in that odd job kind of one-time category. If I hire somebody to paint my hair silver, which actually we had a post in Miami about this, the odds are I'm not gonna hire this guy continuously to do that. So that's what we're really going after, is that kind of niche, one-time kind of quick gigs.
I see. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricky. And that is the time. So we'll move on to the next team.
All right, thank you very much.
So judges, you have 2 minutes to actually capture the feedback. Back to you, MCs.
So we can have the next team up as well. Just keep that in mind.
Okay. So judges, I just want to confirm that you don't want to provide feedback additionally at this time.
Yes, I think at this point, I think they're going to capture the feedback on the forms and electronic as well as written forms. So we do not have time right now to capture the feedback. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you again, judges. Now we'll move on to Team Vessel Athletics. They are also from San Jose State University. Vessel Athletics' goal is to fix the issue of no easy-to-use solution for runners to be and stay hydrated. Vessel Athletics is an activewear brand for runners, creating the world's first hydro shirt. And it has a patent pending which provides the key benefits of on-the-go hydration by designing a lightweight, slosh-resistant, and hands-free product, allowing runners to compete at their maximum ability. I'm going to turn it over to you, Team Vessel Athletics, for your presentation.
Thank you.
You are ready.
Everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Perfect. Then I'll go ahead and get started. So just actually Give me a second. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine Sanchez. I'm the CEO and founder of Vessel Athletics. And this right here is my co-founder, Jalen Brown. And we're creating an activewear brand for runners. Our product is called the Hydro Shirt. And our mission is to enable runners to compete and train at the best of their ability while solving their hydration needs. Did you know that 70% of runners have reported one or more experiences in which dehydration resulted in a performance decrease? Hydration is such a key factor in helping you push through any physical activity, especially when it comes to running. So why is it that the majority of runners are often not hydrating enough throughout their runs? Well, for one, many major running events such as the New York and Boston Marathon have actually banned the use of hydration backpacks due to safety concerns, while other events have prohibited the distribution of plastic cups at aid stations because they're taking steps to having more eco-friendly events. But the biggest detriment is the lack of wearable hydration products in the market that are curated for runners. Hydration backpacks and water belts are oftentimes too heavy or flimsy and are usually targeted for hikers. And let's face it, no one wants to be carrying or holding a water bottle in their hand during the entirety of your run. It's simply inconvenient and oftentimes uncomfortable. As a personal runner myself, I was frustrated with the products on the market. And, when I started doing some research and I just thought, what if we can integrate a hydration pack inside of athletic wear shirts? We already wear shirts to begin with during our runs. I started talking to some close friends and family, but they thought the idea was a little far-fetched. So I was like, I really need to go talk to runners. So I joined some local running groups in the area, started doing research, and even started my own running group. And that's when I got the opportunity to talk to other runners. And I realized that I wasn't the only one that faced the same problem. Many others did as well. And that's when I knew I had something special. So introducing our solution, the Hydro Shirt, we are integrating a removable hydration pack inside of our athletic wear shirts in the back of a pouch. And inside of the pouch, there's an insulation lining that ensures your water stays cool even on the hottest of days. The connected straw tunnels through the inside of your shirt and comes out over the front of your shoulder. And a magnetic clip holds the straw in place. So when you're running, it's not moving around. You can simply grab your straw, drink water as needed, snap it back into place, and it's a very seamless experience. We're creating a product that is lightweight, that's slosh resistant, and it's hands-free. Going into our target market, as mentioned, we're targeting runners, but particularly long distance runners who compete and train for distances of 8 miles or more. They consist of both men and women ranging from the ages of 25 to 39 years old. And in the United States alone, there's 47 million runners. And these runners typically run 4 to 6 times a week. And although right now we're targeting runners, the long-term vision is to expand into other target markets, such as cyclists, hikers, and more, which is a similar approach to what companies like Strava and other industry-related companies did. Going into our market size, so our unique product overlaps into 2 different industries, the running gear industry and the activewear industry. And one thing we found in a report published by Running USA is that between 26 to 30% of runners carry some form of hydration accessories with them, whether that's a backpack or water bottle. And we also found, in another report, we found that it's estimated that, that the water wearable industry alone is valued between $640 to $738 million. So if we took even 6% of that market share, that would equate to around $40 million in revenue. For our competitors, our primary competitors are Camelback, Nathan Sports, and Salomon Sports, all of which generate around $150 to $200 million in revenue. This right here shows you a competitive landscape of how our product compares against some of those brands that I mentioned. One interesting thing that I think is worth noting is that all of our competitors produce a variety of different products, from the hydration backpacks, the water belts, vests, water bottles, and more. Whereas we focus on one core solution to solve one core problem. And we're also the first company that is actually integrating hydration inside of apparel, which is really unique. So going into detail a little bit more on our product and our features, I mentioned lightweight. We're actually 3 times lighter than a Camelback or the average hydration backpack on the market. For a runner, that is such a huge weight difference, especially when you're doing long distances. Slosh resistant. We also incorporated an adjustable elastic strap that wraps around your waist. And so that elastic strap keeps the hydration pack in place. So when you're running, there's not a lot of movement, which is a common concern that runners face. And lastly, hands-free, which I mentioned already. For our revenue model, so when we initially launch, we'll be selling our product as a package deal with the shirt and the hydration pack. That'll be ranging from around $70 to $80, which is right in the middle of what our competitors usually sell products for. So definitely a good price point. But as we scale, we do want to expand on our athletic wear line. And so we will be selling our athletic wear shirts and our hydration pack separately because most runners need a lot of shirts and they only need 1 or 2 hydration packs. And so going into some of the numbers, our starting gross margin will be at around 70%. It costs around $21 right now to produce the hydration pack and the shirt together. And of course, as we scale, that number, that cost per unit will go down while our gross margin will increase, which is great. And so for the financial projections for our first 3 years of business, for year 1, we're estimating to generate around $129,000. Year 2, $388,000, a 200% increase. And by year 3, a little over $1 million. So for our go-to-market strategy, we will be producing our product in Asia. And so we'll be doing, we'll have 2 main go-to-market strategies. Online, so we do want to be very direct consumer focused, and then that's in small specialty running shops and events. But one thing I think that's really important to mention is that we'll actually be launching on Kickstarter this year. Our timeline to launch on Kickstarter was actually in May, but due to some delays with the factory that we're working with, we had to push that back to September. So anyways, we'll still be launching later this year. And of course, after the campaign, we'll be shifting our sales to our website to be direct to consumer. And that takes, that's gonna require us to have a big social media and online presence. So that will be really, really important, as well as partnering and working with reviewers and editors who work for running magazines and blogs. In terms of the offline go-to-market strategy, I mentioned small retail shops and events. We do want to test out how our product does in small retail stores by year 2, but it won't be our initial focus. As mentioned, we do want to be direct to consumer. Going on to progress. So our first prototype, a very rough looking prototype, was created at the end of 2017. Since then, we've focused on product development, testing, iterating, and so on. We've also gone through San Jose State Startup Accelerator. We won a couple awards at a competition. At the end of last year, we filed for a provisional patent. We trademarked the word Hydro Shirt. And today we're actually working with a creative agency to help launch our Kickstarter campaign. I mentioned we're working with a factory in Vietnam to produce some samples. So that will be shot in our Kickstarter campaign. And one exciting thing is that to this day, we have over 200 runners signed up that signed up directly from our website for our for our waiting list. And then another interesting thing is that we were recently featured by Sports Insight and The Weekly by Outdoor Retailer, which is actually the biggest outdoor trade show in the world. So we were mentioned on or featured on their blogs, which is exciting. Going on to the road ahead. So for the next year, I mentioned we want to launch on Kickstarter September. After that, we'll be filing for our utility patent. And then by the end of this year or early next year, we'll be shipping our product out to our backers. And then hopefully a year from now, we'll be launching our next product line, continuing to innovate and increase sales. And of course, testing out in some retail shops. Startup capital needed, we're estimating that we need around $44,000. That will be for filing our utility patent, which is really important, working with our designer, marketing for a Kickstarter campaign, which is also necessary, any inventory separate from the Kickstarter. And then of course, if we want to go to any trade shows or even running events, that incurs fees as well. Last but not least is the team. Again, my name is Jadon Sanchez, and I created this product out of necessity. I'm a passionate runner. My co-founder, Jalen Brown, he has always been passionate about entrepreneurship, and he started his own skateboard brand a few years ago. Our designer, her name is Marissa Borelli. She's amazing. She focuses on technical apparel. She's worked for brands like Lululemon, and she's also a marathoner. And she's also actually helping us work with manufacturers and suppliers, which is great. We have 2 students helping us. Christian Lau and Neil Tacker. And then our creative lead is JJ Casas. He is helping us launch our Kickstarter campaign. And then last but not least, our two advisors, Professor Anabasu and Dave Haddon. So thank you all for your time. Thank you to TYE for hosting this and allowing us to come on and present. And we're ready to take any of your questions.
Thank you, Team Vessel Athletics.
Thank you.
Hey, Jasmine, this is Avanish. So, sorry, got someone else?
Sorry, no, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Avanish.
Right. So, hey, a good presentation, cool idea. And obviously you shared a bit of the competitive landscape. How do you maintain differentiation? What's stopping them from taking this concept you present and adapting one of their existing product lines? How do you stay ahead of that?
Yeah, so a couple of things is one, the patent is going to be huge. That's why it's so important. At the end of last year or mid last year, we filed for a utility patent, which protects us for a year. And that's why it's so important that, to file for that patent. Number two is another thing worth mentioning is that a competitor like Camelback, for example, they launched a shirt for cyclists about 8 years ago that actually integrated a hydration pack. But for whatever reason, they discontinued the line. And, I did some research on the product, had a lot of bad reviews. And my idea because of that is that they weren't apparel focused. So at the end of the day, we call ourselves an activewear brand, whereas Camelback, they produce more outdoor gear. So I think those are two big things that set us apart from our competitors. Some of our competitors mentioned they're all focusing on just doing outdoor gear and they're not necessarily targeting runners.
Got it. Thank you.
Hi, this is Nisha. A quick question. It's kind of interesting that you actually, and this relates to what you just said, which is you're creating both a shirt and a pack. Does that kind of imply that you're fighting two battles? In some ways, there are people who create athletic wear who are extremely good at it and are, and their athletic wear is much loved. And so are you going to be fighting with them as well as the people who are providing hydration packs at the same time?
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. And, nowadays activewear is just it's extremely competitive space to go into. And it's very, some of the biggest brands today are very technical and focus a lot on the quality. But our primary focus right now is to solve the issue with the hydration products. That's our focus right now. And later down the line, we do really want to see how we can expand on our activewear shirts. So that's why, I mentioned that Camelback and all those brands earlier, I consider them direct or indirect competitors. And we can also say that there's some running apparel brands that are also considered indirect competitors. But ultimately, there's not one company that is kind of trying to combine both, which I think definitely sets us apart still.
I see. Thank you.
So thanks. Actually, Nisha, that was a good question. I had wanted to ask that too. Just based on the question which Nisha asked, I wanted to continue that thought. It seems like you have you came out with two things. One is the add-on hydration pack, and then the one is the apparel with the hydration pack built in. Correct? But so if you just did just the hydration pack, that market, I think there's a lot of people who are trying to do. There are things which fit into backpacks for Boy Scouts. There's all kinds of products like that. And I think your strength is in the apparel where you actually have the hydration built in. So my suggestion would be for you to concentrate on that and solve that problem first strongly and be the winner there. Okay. And that's where I think you'll have your strength. Just coming to that again, wanted to make sure that your prototype aligns up with your production, and whatever prototype you did, it has to be producible in a manner that it does work. So you might want to pay attention to make sure that there's a one-to-one match there, right?
Yeah.
Because you're doing volume manufacturing, and you want to make sure that lines up. If you could just go back to your slide, or someone else who has the slide, and you go back to your cart. I saw something there which I think right here, there is this total capital need. Yeah, right here, the projections.
Yes.
Seems like are you guys full-time on this?
So I just recently graduated from college. So I've been basically working full time on this after graduation, and Jalen is part-time right now. So
yeah, so I don't know what your payroll and operating expenses look like, but it seems pretty small. So you might want to take a look at that and see what your burn rate is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your operating expenses seems to be very small, just 15,000.
Yeah.
And so it seems like there's something wrong there.
Okay.
So you might want to make sure you have a very good P&L statement. Okay. And I think you have a great product. It's a great opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, like what you're trying to solve, and make sure you look very professional when you're going to go and raise money. And the second thing, I see that the money you want to raise is too small. I mean, 44,000. That's just like almost things like, you know, it's a Shark Tank kind of thing where you want to make something, you know, and happen. I think you have to go in for a much bigger opportunity here. So think of targeting, and you need to get your better P&Ls and then target for a higher number. That's number one. And number two is, it is not bad to have partners in this kind of product, you know, ecosystem. So I know you could do something organically from websites and stuff, but you might also want to think about one key partner or a sales relationship who can promote you very well.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you very. Thank you very much to the judges. I just want to make sure that we're keeping on track here. Was there one final comment before we move on?
Well, I think Kumar made some very interesting points, and I would encourage Jasmine to take notes of those. Marketing costs, how to do consumer marketing. Unless somebody is experienced, you will make, I would suspect that one makes a lot of mistakes before they learn the ropes of consumer marketing. And money raising, small amount of money, you will get consumed in trying to raise small amount of money. You would rather go for big amount of money and have bigger aspirations both. And partnerships, as he said. So I support all of those.
Okay.
Thank you, Vinita. Back to you, Radhika.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina, and thank you again, judges. We now move on to the feedback, and meanwhile, we'll get on deck Team Odar from the University of California, Santa Cruz. Odar's mission is to drive systematic, sustainable change through organic market flow forces. To do so, they created a convenient and standardized way for consumers to compare the overall environmental impact of products, incorporating analysis of the full life cycle, and recommends them to more sustainable alternatives. Team Odar.
Hi, everyone. Can you see me?
Yes, just give him 1 second. Are all of the judges good to go on feedback?
I think maybe Nihar, we'll give them a minute or so that they can capture the feedback.
Yeah, we still have about a minute left on our timer for Q&A or for feedback. Okay. So we'll go ahead and get started with the next presentation.
Go ahead, Team Odar.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here. I know the Odar team is grateful for this opportunity and to show you our company. So yeah, we'll get started. My name is Chris, and my co-founders Jack and Yuji are presenting Odar. As you can see, Odar stands for Our Decisions Are Responsible. Our team is building a web browser extension that helps users choose more green items when they shop online. I have a background working in sustainability space on policy, while Jack has experience building recommendation systems using machine learning and data science, and Yuji has experience with digital and viral marketing. As students passionate about sustainability and reducing our impact on the environment, we were frustrated by empty corporate sustainability pledges, a broken recycling system, and ineffective policy, allowing corporations to dodge accountability for their product's footprint. Through research and interviews with 30 industry leaders, we conceptualized a solution that better aligns corporate interests with sustainable initiatives. From our research, we found that 70% of millennials are willing to pay more for brands that support the causes they care about. Brands like Patagonia, Nespresso, and Lush have done a good job capturing this market through emphasis on environmental awareness and a circular economy. But there are still plenty of other companies that haven't been able to tap into the market. And this is because less than 25% of consumers are able to put their money where their mouth is. And that is because eco-labels are so confusing to a point that consumers are overwhelmed and don't know what to buy. I'll have to admit to you guys that even after 4 years in the sustainability space, I still have a hard time understanding what many of these labels even mean. So we know that online shoppers value convenience. And currently, a lack of coherent sustainability reporting and deceptive marketing prevents consumers from making sustainable choices when they shop online. Because there's no convenient way to sort through product information, green brands lose out on potential sales. Just to give you an example of how hard that is, I'm going to show you an example that might be overwhelming. So here's how the current system works. To stay competitive, sustainable brands resort to listing drawn-out titles to advertise. Even informed consumers question what certified B Corporation is, or what non-synthetic chemicals are, and what does jojoba oil even mean? If you want to find this kind of information, you'd have to do your own Google search for individual labels and attributes, and that could take a while. On top of that, more sustainable items are ranked lower in your search results because they are often sorted by price and convenience rather than their impact. So despite their good intentions, consumers are left making inefficient purchasing decisions, settling for products that are most convenient. And here's what we're going to do about it. Where there's a problem, we see an opportunity. By arming consumers with accurate information and driving traffic to products and brands that are making responsible decisions. We are adding convenience in a market that desperately needs it. So let me invite you, Gian, now to introduce to you our solution.
This is Odar, a web browser extension that rates products across a number of metrics and recommends cross-platform sustainable alternatives. If you're looking up running shorts on rei.com, we can see that our extension has given us 3 alternatives taking into account metrics such as carbon footprint and fair trade. With a click, you'll be led to a more sustainable purchase. And in turn, we've rewarded the brands for being responsible. So here's how it works. We found 4 key fields that users care most about, these being fair trade, recyclability, carbon footprint, and water usage. You can see those in the little circles at the bottom. Based on these performance on these fields, we offer alternatives. So in this window, we show products from all across the web with better ratings on those four fields, and we collect revenue from affiliate links when they decide to make a switch and be a better consumer. In this way, we're connecting shoppers to the sustainable products they seek and drive demand for sustainable brands. Now, this is what's going to help us grow. Actionable links allow consumers to have their voices heard. User analytics and community features gamify our application. With each sustainable purchase, users earn credits towards savings and prizes from our partners. So we have 3 competitors, the main prominent ones, and we differentiate ourselves by giving product level designations than just rating the brands themselves. We want our users to know which pair of shorts are actually better than the other, and at the same time, making it easy. Many of our competitors don't tell you what's actually better, but simply link you to articles to help you out. And I'm not reading 5 articles to figure out if, my Nike shorts are better. So they don't address the fundamental problem, which is, which one do I buy? With national e-commerce revenues approaching $735 billion by 2023 and millennial spending accounting for 60% of this market, by targeting the 70% of those that want to align with brands that support their values, we reach a target market of $260 billion. Now, given that we can influence 5% of that market with a commission rate of 3 to 4%, meaning 5% of those transactions are influenced by us, and every time they click, we can charge that amount. We could expect a potential revenue of $390 million. So by our first 12 months, we hope to achieve a monthly revenue of $105,000. As we enter year 2 and 3 and we get better at marketing, better at targeting our consumers that are willing to make the most changes, we intend to grow these substantially. So our customer acquisition strategy revolves around our community features. We're expecting rapid growth through a Refer a Friends rewards program, pitting friends against each other to compete for the best user analytics. our users will be enticed to share their responsible purchasing activity with their networks to tell their journey as a responsible consumer. Now, our business model expects revenue from partners, sponsors, affiliate commissions, and data brokerage deals. Brands wanting to showcase their cutting-edge sustainable technology can advertise with us to provide better messaging around their products. We also receive affiliate commissions from driving traffic to more sustainable items, and we can use this data to better inform companies on what sustainable attributes matter to consumers. Our team has the know-how and network to bring the solution to life. I have a passion for digital marketing. Jack has experience building recommendation systems, while Chris is knowledgeable about sustainability. And we've built a diverse network of oceans, sustainability, and tech experts to help mentor our process. Now, over the next 6 months, we look to iterate quickly and have a beta application ready by the fall. Our next steps will be to continue gathering research on potential users, partnering with smaller e-commerce stores where we could adapt our solution to a limited number of items. We are looking to raise around $240,000 for a seed round, 60 to 70,000 of that go into our technology and development, 80 to 100,000 into sales and marketing, and the rest into operations. Now's the time to take action. While many companies are trying to stay competitive during these challenging times, demonstrating a demand for sustainable products will have a compounding effect and drive real change. We're Odar, and we're here to help make responsible purchasing decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Odar. Now off to you, judges, for the questions.
Thank you, guys. Just in a great topic that you're working on. One thing that wasn't clear to me from the presentation is, how do you assess sustainability? So supposing you're recommending 5 options,
right?
How do you make that score?
So here we could see there's 4 different key fields, and right now we just have them at equal importance, but we're in the future, we're planning to be able to replace these seals with whatever consumers care about. So these circles, we can replace them. They have like a menu. They can choose which circles to put on there. But for now, it's just equal importance, and that is aggregated into a single score.
I see. I guess maybe let me clarify my question. My question is more about, say that there are 4 different producers of running shorts, and the consumer is interested in figuring out which one of them is a more responsible vendor. How do you assess which one is the more responsible vendor? Does that score come from you? Does it come from industry standard, some government standard? Like, where does it come from?
So we're planning on aggregating data that's already available from eco-label companies. I'm sure Jack, if he's here, could tell us a little bit more about the web scraping process.
Sure. And just just to expand on that again, like Yuji pointed out, we're augmenting public information that's out there, and especially eco labels that would be attached to these different brands. So that's why, as you can see, we have company profiles and product profiles, because those are the designation for eco labels out there are for those different sectors.
I see.
And the great thing about this solution too is that it's scalable. We could basically web scrape and get all this information from public databases, so it's really easy to kind of populate these product profiles.
So building on that, how many products do you think you can do this for? Which ones matter? How do you select which out of, there's millions of SKUs out there. You probably can't do this for all of them. So which ones do people care about and matter?
Right, yeah, that's a great question. So to get us started, we've kind of identified both the kind of beauty and apparel brands to be good categories to look into. The reasons for those is there's already existing kind of backing behind sustainable marketing within those, and then high margins as well, make it pretty applicable for a solution like this. And yeah, those are going to be the first 2 we're going to look at, and then down the line we're going to kind of continue adding and learning more about the space. Yeah.
Okay, I do have one more question. Let me have one of my colleagues ask, and I will come back.
Okay, so I'm still confused about, if you're going to take the information from the public database about all this information and put them in different categories, what gives you the credibility that to your brand that you are accurately doing it in a way that the consumer will be attracted to you versus somebody else with background in these areas who start doing establish their credibility that they know what they are talking about. You know what I mean? I don't mean that you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, how do you know the sustainability factor, your validation of the sustainability factor?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. And part of that is what we have with us is you can expand your score to be able to tell where did we derive that information from. And just to touch on that again, we're going out and we're collecting the information from already established eco labels that are out there. And if you do know of some have been around for well over 30 years, led by associations. So we want the users to be able to expand their score and see the actual eco labels that are attached to that product. And they can make that judgment on themselves.
Mm-hmm. We found that the consumers don't necessarily care if it's LEED certified or Energy Star. They just want to know, is this attribute being met? And kind of combining all of those to kind of give them a full picture is what they're really looking for.
Well, I would agree that they want to know somebody else has done the homework for them and you put the label on or you give credibility to the label, but there will be price differential. It's like organic products, right? When there is a price differential, then consumer says, really, what does organic mean? If the price differential is very small, then you are absolutely right that they will, ignore it and just go with the eco-friendly product.
Right, of course. And that's our target market is
Yeah.
the ones who care to align with those.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Hi guys, very interesting space, but I'm still trying to get to the bottom of who the purchaser is and where the business prop is. Is this like a kayak example of, let's say, I want to go somewhere and this one's going to take and compare all the costs and give it to me. So if I were to be looking for some piece of clothing, is it on your website? Are you selling it to someone else? So do I go to your website first and then say, I am interested in this pair of running shorts and this is supposed to be eco-friendly, whatever. So are you going to go and get the opinion about this running short from various vendors? Let's say it be, I don't know, Amazon is one and Walmart is another, and I'm not sure how much Walmart is eco-friendly, but similar stuff like that. And then you put all the characteristics in a page so that the consumer knows these are the reviews across all these e-commerce sites, and then everything you want to know about the product.
Right, yeah, so it's a Chrome extension, if you're familiar with Honey, very similar to that. So how it would work is basically you'd already be on the page of the product that you're looking at, and we would kind of have those profiles pre-filled out. So again, it's kind of an ongoing process of doing that, but does that help kind of clarify?
So to clarify a little bit, so you're on the website already. So in the example shown on the screen there, they're on rei.com trying to find a pair of shorts. This extension will help them figure out the recommendations are coming from other websites, so it's cross-platform. And
wait, so hold on.
On these
so
links,
stop right there. Hold on. So you're selling to REI, likes of REI. Are you selling to them? Who are you selling to?
We're selling to the REI customers who are thinking of buying an REI item, but we're offering them alternatives on different websites. So when they switch, is when we get a commission.
So you're a generic browser extension then? So I'm sitting here, I'm shopping, I go to REI, I was looking for this, and then your browser extension comes in and gives you the suggestions. Is that what it is?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, what's your revenue model? Who's paying you?
Right. So we're going to use affiliate links. So when we click on these, we're going to get a commission out of when they complete a purchase.
All right, judges, that is 5 minutes. So we'll now spend 2 minutes for any feedback to your spreadsheets there. Thank you, team, for presenting.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Give him a moment and then we'll bring up Team Edu.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you? I think my teammates are still in the attendee session. Could you please pop them
Yes, I'm adding them in there right now.
Thank you.
So while we wait for judges to finish the feedback, I will introduce Edu. Edu is a cloud-based video recording and editing tool that empowers educators to generate impactful and engaging educational content with minimum effort and time. Their one-stop video recording and editing solution is user-friendly, interactive, and tailored to education. Traditional video editing tools are expensive and hard to use. The long learning curve, lack of available content, and time-consuming manual adjustments prevent educators to use videos as a supplement to their teaching routines. Alternatively, Edu enables educators to seamlessly adapt in-person classes into interactive and engaging videos. Team Edu? Hayun?
Yeah, I guess Anchi, our CTO, can share the slide.
Yes, we're able to see them.
Okay, cool. If everyone else is ready, I can get started. So hello, everyone. We're Edu, a complete solution for teachers. My name is Haiyun. Was experience in product and project management and make sure Edu gets across the line. Please allow me to briefly introduce my teammates. With extensive experience in finance and investment, Fangmin and Chuhan are our CEO and CFO. Anqi is our CTO, and she is an expert in conducting research and understanding technology trends. Our Chief Design Officer, Jack, is a professional photographer and a UI UX expert. Coming from the education industry, we are a group of Stanford graduate students with a collective experience of 30 years in education. Now let me give you an overview of what's happening in this sector. COVID has changed everything. Distance learning is here to stay. 90 million global educators are caught in the middle of this crisis. All educators are forced to acquire video editing solution skills for online teaching while they have little to no experience. However, existing video solutions aren't solving this problem. After interviewing 20+ college and high school educators and conducting a ton of research, we found the following 3 pain points. First, lack of support. Less than 30% schools have available staff to help with video creation and management. Second, time consuming. It requires an average of 5 hours of video editing to output an hour of content. Plus, 70% of our interviewees still found the most common video editing software, iMovie, too complicated to use. But no worries, Edu is here to solve educators' problem. We are a cloud-based tool that empowers educators to generate impactful and engaging content with minimum time and effort. Unlike those expensive and complicated traditional tools, our one-stop shop video recording and editing solution is user-friendly, interactive, and tailored to education. We understand educators are most familiar working with text, teaching interactively. Therefore, we allow them to use transcript-based editing and insert quizzes into videos. At the same time, we know educators are not tech-savvy at all. So we design our interface based on the website and tools that they're most familiar with. Now, let me walk you through how Daisy, a college teacher, will use our solution. Instead of recording multiple times to get one good shot, she can now record herself in Edu's smart recording interface. Our ambience monitor will constantly check the lighting, volume, positioning for her to get her through her recording. Then Daisy will enter our intuitive video editing interface. With auto-generated video transcript, she can easily adjust the content of her video using our trim via text function. Simply highlight the part she feels irrelevant or misspoken. She could trim and remove those irrelevant video clips. To make her teaching process more interactive, she can use various media to interact with students and learn about students' level of understanding, interest, and even confusion. By adding quizzes, surveys, and other media to interact with students, she can attract their attentions easily. And in the end, Daisy wants to see how she does a job delivering her course. At the end of this recording, she will see an AI-suggested feedback on her speech and how she delivered this class. She can compare herself with average speakers to give herself a better understanding of how she delivered this. On the right-hand side, she can also access various students' feedback to further improve her class. Now I'll allow our CEO Fang Ming to talk more about our market sizing. Sorry, I think our CEO Fang Ming had some problem with the Zoom, so I will just instead introduce the following slides. So of course, we're targeting the education sector. More specifically, we're targeting educators who are under age 55. From our customer interview, we found a general trend that young educators are more willing to embrace new technologies and more interested in the flipped classroom model. Therefore, this group consists of 80% of the entire educators. For market expansion, we select North American college and high school teachers as our beachhead market, which has 6 million educators in total. In later stages, we're going to expand to global educators, which is 90 million people customer base. Respectively, our beachhead market will give us a $120 million business opportunity and $2.7 billion market for a TAM. Edio is using a SaaS model, and everything is supported by cloud service. We offer our customers a web-based application and cloud storage to host their videos so they never worry about crash or local storage space. For pricing, we're using a freemium model. Free tier helps us to acquire customers rapidly while limited to only basic features and usage time. Customers may upgrade to subscription tiers to enjoy the complete version of Edio. After combining customers' willingness to pay and proxies pricing, we're pricing the standard tier at $9.99 per month and pro tier at $14.99 per month. In terms of unit economics, I'm using the standard tier as an example. We're making $120 out of a single license annually, and COGS takes up $25. That will give us an 80% gross margin. You can see from the COGS breakdown that cloud storage, web hosting, and customer service are the 3 major parts for our COGS. From customers' lifetime value perspective, we have assumed a monthly churn rate of 4%, which gives us roughly 2.1 years of lifetime, bringing the lifetime value based on gross profit to $200. CAC per paying user is around $67, and we then arrive at the lifetime value over CAC ratio of 3. Next, I would like to talk about competitive landscape. Compared to other video editing tools, our product have 2 distinctive characteristics. First, our software is designed for educators to use. We assume the users do not have much video recording and editing experience. We make it easy. We offer plenty of one-button editing tools and ready-to-use templates. Second, we are dedicated to make our product a one-stand solution for our customers so that they don't need to struggle with multiple applications. We want our customers to focus on teaching and leave everything else to us. To deliver our product to the end users, we're considering 3 major methods. The first one is direct demand generation, in which we advertise on major online channels like Google and YouTube. Secondly, we directly reach out to customers such as school teachers and professors. After the pandemic, we would have exhibition booths at academic conferences. Thirdly, we're also going to partner with existing learning management platforms such as Zoom and Canvas. By developing add-ons or leverage their marketplace, we're able to increase our brand exposure. Now I'll pass the panel to Chuhan, our CFO.
Great, thanks, Auntie. Now, this chart shows our projected revenue growth from year 1 through year 5, along with the corresponding number of paying users each year. In the initial phase of building the product and getting to product market fit, we are projecting really modest revenues in year 1 and year 2. But in year 3 onward, we will be well positioned for scaling, finishing year 5 with a projected revenue of 62 million and a total of 620K paying users. And moving on to our funding milestones, we plan to capture the opportunity by raising a 750K seed round to help finance the first launch. We have shown a number of target customers the mock-ups of our products, which we demoed earlier, and have received a lot of enthusiastic responses, which help us validate the need and de-risk for the seed round. We will then spend the first 7 months developing our core features and launching our minimum viable product. And based on the results and traction of the MVP, we plan to close our Series A round of $3 million, which will provide us with another 15-month runway. We will then focus on value-added features that support content creation over the next 8 months following Series A and enter the second phase of building a content marketplace for educators for them to communicate and share content on our platform. We are projected to get to an annual recurring revenue of $4 million by the end of year 2 with a proven product market fit and ready for scaling. And based on these milestones, we aim to close our Series B round of $8 million, which will support our market expansion from year 3 to year 5, projected to turn cash flow positive between year 4 and year 5 as we scale the business. To summarize, we're Adio, the complete video solution tailored to educators to help them navigate the accelerated transition to online education. As COVID has moved all education delivery online and video has become the dominant method of teaching, now is the best time to launch our product. Thank you for your time and attention. We welcome you to reach out to us and sign up for early access, and please visit our website at adio.com. We would like to turn the floor over to the judges now for any questions and comments.
Thank you, Team Adio. Judges?
I think it's a great space to be in. Video editing and doing it easily and interactively. What I'm unclear about from the presentation is, are we talking of accredited institutions, or we are talking of people like Coursera and people who are delivering management training that they just make their own videos? Because I thought the education space, it's more live teaching and it's not recorded teaching, but I could be wrong. So which space are you addressing?
Hi, Judge. I'm the CTO of the company. So our initial customer, we focus on the teachers who now need to transit to another way of teaching. Especially during the COVID time, we expect a big stretch in this space where teachers have to make their own videos. And after even the COVID-19, there will be an increasing amount of teachers using the flipped classroom model, which they teach partially offline and partially in class. So that's the teachers we're marketing at this stage.
So two questions building on that. So in your research, did you find that it's the teachers who make that decision for which technologies they're using, or is the institution telling them what to use, number one? And then number two, do you need to also build integrations to Canvas and Google Classroom and all these other tools? And how is that part of your model from a delivery perspective as well?
Yes, so like from our survey, we found there are 2 types of classes teachers are usually teaching now. The one is school has specific problems that they benefit from. For example, a business school can offer an online MBA program. And in this case, when school has a very clear revenue income, they would assign a studio and specific staff to help to record this program. But on the other side, there are also teachers who want to teach just online because their schedule conflicts or they have other reasons, especially in this COVID-19 time. During this time, the school lack of support to give teacher which tools you can use, which ways is the best ways to use. Teacher have their own choice to decide in which tools they want to teach and how they can teach the best.
Okay.
Yeah, so quick follow-up question on that. Is your platform going to be primarily for the creation of the video, or do you envision students so that the delivery of the video to the students also through your platform? The reason I'm asking is you had mentioned in your presentation that you could integrate student feedback, and I was curious how you were envisioning doing that.
Yeah, thank you, Nisha. I guess I can chime in and answer this question. So yes, students will teachers will have to use our platform to publish publish their video in order to get feedback to see students' feedback about their videos. But we're also integrating with Canvas and Zoom, so those other tools, so that they can export and publish their videos on other channels as well. But students have to view their videos from at least from our link in order for the creators to receive those feedbacks. And later on, we're planning to create more like a content sharing platform so that they can share more video content that they created and maybe charge for that.
Makes sense. And just a quick follow-up on that, I think I'm following up from the previous judges' questions. I am curious as to, particularly if you're talking about the delivery platform, is it selected by the teacher typically in your view, or is it selected by the educational institution that they work for?
Yes, so I think we have two ways to get a customer paid for us. One way is at the initial beachhead, we plan to directly reach teachers. So in this case, when the teachers pay for the product, they decide how they want to let the students view. But as we accumulate enough users and we want to directly reach the school to let them buy a school licensing. And in that case, each school will have their own policy of how they want this to be broadcast. And in that case, we respect the school's decision.
I see. Thank you.
Hi, guys. I just have one comment. Just from the aesthetic point of view, I would think it would be nice if just one of you present and the rest are all there. It's great to see the entire team. It's awesome to see such participation, but have one person present and then have the others field the question. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a very good advice. Thank you.
And
thank you.
That's all the time we have for questions for this team.
Great. Thank you, Team Edio. I think these have been some amazing pitches so far, and we'd like to maybe take a break before we move on to the next 5 amazing teams, and we'd like to recommend a 10-minute break at this time. It's now 2:30.
Great. We'll be back in 10.
So before we start the next set of teams, if there is anyone in the attendee that is part of the teams coming up, just go ahead and shoot me a message, Nihar, on the chat, and I'll add you in as a panelist.
Nihar, I'll also make one announcement. Some of the teams have prepared as multiple, they have a pitch, and a few of the people are dividing up the slides. So this is for all the teams. You guys should present as well as you feel. Please feel free to present it. And again, I think, we have feedback from judges, but I want to make sure that you guys are comfortable in presenting the way you have prepared. Okay.
Great, and we'll get started in just a minute with our next team. Hope you enjoyed the first 5 teams as much as we did. We'd like to move on to the next team, which is Team Ambi, again from San Jose State University. And Ambi is a music streaming platform made for business. They take advantage of advancements in business technology to collect data and use AI in order to bring in-store music into the future. I'll turn it over to you, Team Ambi, for your presentation.
Thank you very much. Sound check, you can hear me?
Yes.
Great. Screen visible?
Yes.
Awesome. Phew. Well, first of all, thank you so much for letting me speak to you guys. I saw some awesome teams, and I'm really just grateful to be able to speak in front of everybody. Phew. Okay. So, hello, everybody. My name is Sharik Shah. I'm the founder and CEO of Ambi. I am a technical entrepreneur with a background in music tech. I wrote software for Gracenote, which currently powers the music recommendation engine for Apple and Amazon Music. I was a technical lead on a project at NASA, and now I currently run the Startup Accelerator program at San Jose State University. As a company, Ambi has participated and has graduated from the G-Beta Music Tech Accelerator program, which is a music tech startup program run by Universal Music Group. We've taken first place in Silicon Valley Innovation Challenge and first place in Silicon Valley Business Fund competition. Ambi is a music streaming platform made for businesses. We let businesses legally play licensed music in their stores. We connect to their business data, and we use AI to deliver music that effectively increases their sales. And we are the only platform on the market that promises to be free forever. We monetize by letting advertisers advertise in stores around the country. The current solutions that are available on the market today have been founded over a decade ago. And by today's standards, these guys are just glorified collections of playlists. They are difficult to use, hard to set up, and they charge expensive setup, subscription, and hardware fees. And as you can see by their ratings, people are just not very happy with them. So you shouldn't be surprised when I tell you that 82% of businesses illegally stream unlicensed music through personal Spotify and Pandora accounts. These businesses would rather risk fines and lawsuits than pay for an outdated piece of music technology for their store. Ambi promises to be free forever. We offer hundreds of playlists curated just for businesses, features that enable hyper-customization of in-store audio, all easily accessible on any desktop or mobile device. Now, our competitors do offer similar features, but we take it one step further. So, due to the recent popularity of smart point of sale systems like Square and Clover, we are now able to much more easily collect business data like sales, inventory, and transactions. Ambi integrates with these platforms, collects relevant data, correlates that data to the music that it plays, and over time optimizes the in-store music to effectively increase sales for the business. This data is also used to help us let brands choose where they want to target and localize their advertisements. For example, a brand like Nike can choose to advertise in sporting goods stores in Central California that have basket size of more than $20. So there was a study done by HUI that tracked over 2 million transactions, and they showed us that the right music can increase sales by 9%. Other studies have shown that classical music can increase wine sales, faster music increases table turnover for restaurants, and playing the top 100s actually has a chance of hurting your sales. All of these studies were done on a case-by-case basis. Ambi, using technology, will do this at scale. So a business that gives us data will get us around $20 per month, per store per month through our advertisements. A store that provides us with its data will get us 2 to 3 times more. If a business does not want ads in their store, they can simply pay for a subscription and get an ad-free version of our product. So in terms of the market opportunity, all of our competitors who operate on a subscription business model, they report TAMs of around $1.3 billion. By enabling advertisers and by opening new marketing channels for brands, we expect to add at least $3.2 billion of additional value to this industry. Now, you must be asking, Sharik, how are you going to give something away for free that other people charge a lot of money for? Well, that comes with a little bit of a history lesson. So back in the day, internet connectivity was very unreliable and music streaming had stutters and pauses. So our competitors would have a little box like this. And this box would download the audio and store it on the device for offline play. But the thing is that when you do store music on a device, you have to get direct licensing deals from the labels. And these labels, they demanded 70% of your revenue. Today, we live in a world of 5G. We don't have internet connectivity problems as much anymore. So what we've decided to do is we've decided to do away with the box. We decided to do away with the box, get rid of a couple of, follow a couple of other regulations. And doing that allows us to fall within the internet radio statutory guidelines. And that allows us to get music licensing for only 13% of our revenue. Now, our lower price point enables a very powerful go-to-market strategy. We can get our costs down to $1 per store per month and bundle our product with other services in parallel industries like business insurance, audio video suppliers, and ISPs. We offer our partners 15% revenue share for the first 2 years, and we offer their customers 6 months of ad-free music with Ambi. So a potential customer would hear a promotion like this. Sign up for Comcast for Business right now and get 6 months of ad-free premium music for your business for free. So within the first 6 months, we will upgrade to a much better SSP, which will give us significantly higher prices for our ads. Within 12 months, we expect to break even with about 2,500 businesses using Ambi. And within 24 months, we plan on doing direct deals with brands for advertising. Now, coming out of COVID-19, we will be positioned for success. Currently, most of these businesses have canceled all of their subscriptions. And as they start reopening, they're going to be looking for platforms that promise to help them save money and earn more. Both of these things, Ambi can help them do. So since we launched about a year ago, we completed a base product that is comparable to most platforms on the market. We participated in the G-Beta Music Tech Accelerator Program, which is an accelerator program run by Universal Music Group and Capitol Records, which gave us very strong ties and relationships with the music industry. We have a very unique partnership with Gracenote, which provides us with metadata and music intelligence. We have advertisers on board. We also have 44 million track music catalog and music licensing deals ready to sign, as well as an 11,000 restaurant distribution network ready to go pending funding. Today, we have about 2 locations currently, we do have 2 locations currently testing our product in their stores. We have played over 250 hours of music and played close to 2,000 ads. We have 100 locations pre-registered to use Ambi today. Apart from myself, I have 2 phenomenal partners. Jake, who has experience building enterprise software for startups, and Olora, who has run a sales and marketing firm for over 8 years. On top of that, we have an amazing suite of advisors who are from the industry, understand our vision, and believe in the path that we're currently taking. Of these advisors, 2 of them are ex-founders of one of our biggest competitors, Cloud Cover Music. So Cloud Cover Music was founded over 10 years ago, and the first VP of sales and the first CTO of that company currently advises us. They believe in our vision, they understand our approach, and they think that they validate what we are doing currently. Apart from them, we have a VP of Partnership and Strategy from Universal Music Group, who helps us with anything related with the music industry and music licensing, as well as somebody who has held the title of COO and works in corporate retail and has worked with brands like Apple, Philz Coffee, and Starbucks. Currently, we're raising $500,000, and we have $400,000 of those dollars committed through the CXO fund. We plan on closing our round by the end of next month. The funds should be used to help us build out our sales and marketing channels, build out some cooler tech, and also work on our IP strategy. You know, as always, there's so much more to share, but I think this is a good stopping point. At this point, I'd like to thank you guys for listening, and more than happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Team Ambi, and off to you, judges, for your questions.
Hey, Shark, this is Avanish. So thanks for educating me about something that I did not realize was a market. So a couple of questions. One is, as the market evolves and retail is moving more and more towards online and so on, what's the growth opportunity? How do you kind of identify where can you grow the relationships, where can you add other offerings and so on? What's kind of the growth strategy?
Sure. So there are a couple of things here. Number one, yes, we are moving to digital, but those locations will still be there, and those locations those retail locations might be replaced by other things, but those locations are still going to be there, and there is still going to be some sort of transaction and commerce occurring. So the size of the industry for us doesn't change. On the flip side, in our business model, internet radio marketing has been increasing significantly, and that's a $12 billion industry, and it's been increasing by 9%, specifically the internet radio advertising business. So that side of things has been increasing. In terms of, to specifically answer your questions, other opportunities for us would be to open ways for consumers to interact with music in stores or in groups of in public locations. So like what we could do is we could enable a consumer to walk through a specific set of doors and will automatically change the music to suit their tastes. We can enable things like that because we are moving more to a world of experiences and a super customized world. And that is something that we can look into and offer in the future.
So you mentioned a few
Thank you.
Oh, sorry about that. So you mentioned kind of a few interesting things in your presentation, one about the role of music and its correlation to sales, and then your model with respect to pricing. So what is your sort of front and center value pitch when you go in to, say, a business? Are you trying to convince them that you're a cheaper offering than something they could buy from, like, say, a Spotify? Or are you saying that you're going to increase their sales? And if you're doing the latter, I'm very interested in how you would prove that, because that's a fascinating proposition. I would love to see that proven personally, but I'm not quite sure how you would prove it.
Sure. So this depends on the customer. Sales always depends on the customer, right? So if they are a small mom and pop shop that is just focused on getting by, the promise is, hey, we can reduce your costs. Hey, you're probably doing something illegal right now. Here is a free and legal option that you can use and play in your store. And hey, look, there are a bunch of other features that help you run the music in your business. That's one side of things. And then if we're going for like a Target or wrong company to use right now. If we decide to go for an enterprise brand, then we can talk about how we can cater their music and use AI to increase their sales at scale in their 2,000 locations. So it just depends on the customer.
So Sharik, this is Kumar. It's a great space. I mean, a lot of players, but I think if done right, there could be a big opportunity here. So having said that, my question is just a 10%, 9% increase in sales. So what is the return on investment for someone who's investing, okay, in you, right? Mm-hmm. And then the second thing is, you're still charging, right? Is there a way to do this without charging? Like, for example, all these guys like Pandora and Spotify, there's also a free model, right? As an advertiser supported free model. And then after that, it's kind of like freemium. And after some time, people get hooked onto it. They want it to be commercial free. So people start subscribing. So have you looked at some kind of a model for that? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Ambi promises to be free forever. And we are the only business platform, the platform made for businesses that is free forever. Playing music through Spotify and Pandora in your stores is illegal and it would get you fined.
I got that. And I think that should be a number one value prop, that it's illegal to use personal music for businesses, right?
Correct.
So that should be the number one value prop, more than the fact that, it's a nice to have that it's driving some sales based on what customers would like to hear based on the store and the product and everything. So the question is, maybe I missed something. Where is the part which you're saying you're free, but I thought you are subscription based? Are you not?
No, we are free forever and we are monetized by advertising.
Where is the advertisement coming from?
We have SSPs signed on that are giving us high quality audio ads.
I know, but is it in the music?
Yes,
coming in the music?
Correct. Yes, the audio ads are played between the songs.
Okay.
Terrific.
So
I have time. Go ahead.
Okay, that could be something you might want to revisit. And maybe to start off with, that's all right, but it might be a little jarring to have, for example, if it's a store which is selling, you're in a food store and you have an ad coming from a different food store coming in or whatever, it may not just gel, right? So you got to be careful about that. You might want to revisit that whole thing to figure that out.
On that note, all of the ads that we play are tagged with 200 sets of metadata, and that metadata allows us to ensure that we don't play competitors' ads in a competitor's store.
No, even unrelated, right? Then it becomes a little jarring. The whole point you want to do is drive sales based on what the consumer is buying. So one of the other things to do is to have the ad on the website or where they stream from. There might be some other ways you want to start look at when they subscribe or something, or just maybe on the top of the hour, maybe one time. The other thing is to have a low cost offset subscription, and you do have that ad free, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Terrific. With an eye towards the clock. So, just one final comment maybe from the judges and we'll move to feedback.
Sharik, I have a question regarding your personal background and why did you choose music, just to get a glimpse of how you got started.
Sure. I'll start with the cliche answer of, I always loved music. Moving forward from that, my first internship was at a company called Gray Snow, and that's where I started working on music tech. And I thought that it was so fascinating how we can break music into numbers, and numbers can, once anything is into numbers, you can do anything with them. And that honestly fascinated me. And so that's why I moved into music and music tech. It's just an amazing experience and this amazing ideas for me. So
okay, thank you.
That's
all. Sorry, who else is there with you, Sharik, before we move on?
My co-founders Alora and Jake are both listening in.
Okay, and you're all full-time?
We are all full-time, correct.
Thank you.
And I think that's all the time that we have for this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to Team Biodoc AI from Stanford University. Biological data is getting more complex and new types of data and analysis algorithms appear over the years, and Biodoc AI wants to make that easier. Biodoc AI wants to be the first centralized cloud AI platform to perform data analysis for scientists. To reach their goal by the end of 2020, Biodoc AI plans to have over 200 scientists paying $50 a month from pharmaceutical, the biotech industry, and academic labs, and 2,000 scientists signed up for their free tier. Thank you. Team Biodoc, you can present.
Great, fantastic. Let me just share my screen and be up and running. Hi, first of all, I'd like to thank TYE community and for inviting us to this competition. And yeah, I would like to share about our project here. So we are Biodoc AI. We are bringing cloud AI data analysis to biomedical scientists. We're a team of 2 Stanford students. My name is Nurlubek Mursaliev. I'm a 6-year PhD candidate in the Department of Biology at Stanford. I have completed an entrepreneurship program from Stanford Graduate School of Business. And I'm passionate about Biodoc AI because I have experienced how research can be inefficient during my PhD.
Hi, my name is Michael Lee. I'm a 3rd-year CS Artificial Intelligence student at Stanford who works in AI software for biological applications. Previously, I co-founded an AI startup named MathPix with 750,000 users.
So we want to start with bringing microscopy image analysis to cloud first, because seeing is believing, and microscopy images are the core of bio R&D. Unfortunately, image analysis in biomedical field is not very efficient. First, image analysis is complicated for scientists to grasp faster and has many aspects that needs to be learned. Second, image analysis inefficiency creates a bottleneck for scientific progress. So current microscopy imaging workflow, as I said, very complex, where you start from image acquisition and get raw images into microscope computer. Then you transfer these images to another computer with enough computational power to process and analyze images. Here, it's not easy to figure out which software to use for your images. Then eventually, after performing tedious image analysis, you have to use third-party data visualization solutions to visually represent the results. Afterwards, scientists must store accumulated images. One experiment can generate 10 gigabytes of data. First, you can store them locally and then use third-party cloud services as Dropbox. Then you can share the data with your collaborators with hard drive or sharing electronically with cloud. Now you can appreciate how disconnected all aspects of image analysis are. This slows down research. In fact, image analysis can take more than 50% of experimentation time. So being slow and inefficient, image analysis creates a bottleneck for discovery of different drugs and therapeutics in biopharmaceutical companies.
Here's one of our team's big advantages. I've been working in an oncology lab, the Nolan Lab for Oncology and Immunology at Stanford, and I've created a state-of-the-art analysis and segmentation algorithm for cells. Currently, it's trained on about 30,000 cell images on a deep AI architecture and has state-of-the-art performance. The AI algorithm takes raw images and identifies individual cells automatically, measuring gene expression of interest and visualizing gene expression from every single cell. I'm currently preparing this for publication. Coming out of the lab, Biodoc makes imaging workflows simple. Scientists accumulate raw data from microscopy and upload to Biodoc AI. Without writing a single line of code, they get AI data analysis, cloud storage, data sharing, and experimental history and tracking. Here's a screen grab from our minimum viable product platform, which we're launching in less than 5 days and have already completed. Scientists upload and manage their image data from the left panel, where they're able to view and download their data from anywhere, anytime. They can then drag a batch over to analysis, where our cloud AI infrastructure will start a segmentation job. Finally, they can share and download their analyzed results from the results section. These downloadable results include a quantitative table, as well as graphical analysis and visualization.
From our customer discovery, we found out that accumulated microscopy image data are not 100% analyzed, and large portions are tossed away. Therefore, they might be missing out on important biological characteristics from these images with therapeutic potentials. One of the main advantages of using cloud AI analysis platform is accumulation of imaging data. This means our AI algorithm gets better and better over time and will be bringing high quality analysis for our users. Moreover, the accumulated data will be coming from different labs around the world that specialize in specific disease and tissue types, which can hold therapeutic potentials. We want to train this data to better understand different diseases and collaborate with pharmaceutical companies to help them with their drug discovery and therapeutic endeavors. So why we're building AI cloud platform for biomedical scientists now? Because many enterprise software are moving to the cloud. And it's estimated that by 2025, half of the software will be cloud. We think this is the time to bring biomedical software to the cloud as well. Also, with current COVID-19 crisis, a lot of labs are locked out from the lab and cannot access all of their data for further analysis. Therefore, many labs are expected to use cloud solutions as well. We estimated our total addressable market to be around 6.2 billion. With Biodoc AI version 1.0, which will be $50 month subscription, our initial target market size in the US is estimated to be around $300 million. And with Biodoc AI version 2.0, when we offer more services in our platform, including image analysis, DNA sequencing, and flow cytometry analysis, our total addressable market is estimated to be 2.4 billion in the US and 6.2 billion globally. We also think we have an advantage in image analysis competitive landscape. We have divided the landscape into 4 quadrants in terms of their image analysis quality and presence of cloud. In the left bottom corner, we have microscope firmware. They have no imaging analysis and no cloud. And in the left top corner, we have open source and enterprise image analysis softwares. They have image analysis, but it's complicated with long learning curve. And they have no cloud and AI capabilities. And in the right bottom corner, we have enterprise data management platforms, which are completely in the cloud, but they have no imaging and AI analysis capabilities. So we think Biodoc AI is different, where we are the first completely cloud image analysis platform centered around AI for biologists.
So I developed the core AI technology in 2019, and in March 2020, we started working on Biodoc and have made significant progress since then. We did extensive customer discovery through the Bay Area National Science Foundation Innovation Core and are constantly interviewing scientists from academia, pharma, and biotech to tune our product market fit. We have also recently finished developing an initial MVP, as shown earlier, for first users, which will be launching in less than 5 days. We're able to hire 2 talented software interns who are passionate about the product and delivering to scientists who will be working throughout the summer on our platform. Moreover, we have had a lot of interest from industry about our product and have secured 7 initial data partnerships with pharma and manufacturers, which we'll bring to our MVP platform. So who are our main customers? With the initial customer discovery, we found that biological scientists from biotech and pharmaceutical companies are our main users. We plan to make Biodoc AI an enterprise software as a service with monthly subscription model per user. To reach our customers, we're looking to go to scientific conferences to showcase our technology and work with university resources such as imaging cores to distribute our platform, do paid media, and eventually scientific publications, planning to work with academic scientists to publish peer-reviewed papers. We have a clear set out goal for the next 3 years. Currently, we have built the MVP and will be launching to academic users within 5 days. This allows us to start accumulating valuable data immediately. We want to reach paying customers by the end of August and reach 100 paying customers by the time we raise seed in early October. Importantly, we want to reach 1,000 paying customers by early 2021 and be working on data collaborations with pharmaceutical companies by Q2 2021.
So thank you for your attention. We are Biodoc AI, and we welcome your questions.
Thank you for the presentation. It's very interesting. A couple of questions. Are you building custom AI algorithms for these analysis, or are you making them easier to use, or both?
So I think the answer comes with both, for example. So to go back to the core technology that I built in my lab, it's the cell segmentation. To break it down a little bit, it's the cell segmentation with quantification built on top of it. So that kind of software has been around. However, what my software actually delivers is better performance than other softwares. So not only are we delivering better performance, but we're putting it in the cloud so that any scientist can use it and contribute to the data advantage that we have.
I see. And when you say like you're moving it to the cloud, are you picking a particular cloud vendor? And if so, does the $50,000 a month reflect the backend cost as well, given that this is image analytics? Could you comment on what you expect the cloud bill to be?
Yeah, for sure. So I can just tell you what we have right now because that's already set up. We've already set that up for our MVP. So right now we're on AWS for cloud. G Cloud is a little bit cheaper, but AWS has better reliability. So on an EC2 instance, which is their cloud instance, we're running our AI on powerful GPUs so that we can accelerate our workflows. And then we also have a separate CPU processing server. We're also running our web server on Amazon as well. So everything is totally in the cloud. And our storage solution is stored in S3, which is great for biologists because they really care about privacy and security. And S3 already provides that for them.
I see. So I don't want to kind of hog the questions. My main question was really like at $50 a month, well, how much of it do you feel if the scientist is using the product intensively, how much of it would go into paying for the GPUs? Because GPU instances can, on AWS can be anything from, 50 to 90 cents an hour to as much as $24 an hour. So I was just curious.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so our GPUs actually are currently just under 50 cents an hour. 50 cents an hour. So you're accurate in your prediction. However, what's interesting to note is that most of I think our main delivery happens from running these AI algorithms on their software. However, they don't need that many hours in terms of their pipeline. So for example, what we're looking at is these scientists are collecting data and they want to run through those images through segmentation or those sequences through different alignments, and we only need a single run through GPUs. So we'll start up GPUs as we need them, and then we'll put them down as we don't. There's a lot of different things for auto scaling. Right now, we're currently on just a couple GPUs, but we're looking to set up a Kubernetes core in order to keep those costs down. In terms of the $50 a month, that's a really competitive price point for pharmaceutical scientists. I think you're asking about, how can we actually support like that level of infrastructure for pharmaceutical scientists at only $50 a user. I think the main reason for that is because many scientists can be supported on a single GPU. Many scientists.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So, guys, I have a question. Very interesting. It's pretty scientific, deep domain. In your bio summary, in your basically business summary rather, you mentioned RNA image analysis, flow symmetry. Now, are these the most popular cases the scientists use?
Yes.
Is this the kind of three applications most scientists use?
Yeah. So the next generation sequencing is one of the hot things that scientists do now, and it's getting cheaper, and a lot of scientists are using it, but not a lot of them know how to analyze them. In fact, they pay to third-party services to actually analyze them images.
So my question is more about if that's just a limited set, obviously you can do more, right? Of what you can do with that data, with the microscopic data. And I'm not even sure if the scientific community is the best in terms of paying you the money, and that's, I don't know enough about it, but maybe you have some analysis. But on the flip side, the pharmaceutical industry, influenced by the scientists, is definitely a great low-hanging fruit as far as where the dollars can come from, okay? Because they would probably appreciate this analysis for whatever it is that they have to use. And if you can use your technology customized towards what they want to use, or give them a solution as a service provider where they can customize it to their application.
Yeah, absolutely. And pardon us if we weren't clear, pharmaceutical and biotech scientists are our main customers by far. We have, as you found that academic scientists, while they're interested in using the product, they just don't have the same ability to pay as these enterprise scientists. So,
and they can be great influencers to push your product out to these guys who actually will pay for it.
Exactly.
And the second thing is you might also want to look at, maybe, I don't know if those three applications are the majority of everything you want to do, which you listed in your business summary. And if it's just a small subset, then it's a great starting point. But you might want to keep your platform flexible and open for any kind of customization. And you got to start thinking the business along those lines.
Absolutely, yeah. We're looking into those high impact areas for sure, but we're keeping our ears open.
Judges, I think we are at time.
Just one question is, did you guys not take part in StartX, Stanford, the Angel Forum?
Yeah, we will apply. We will go there.
We'll apply. So
we
they
just
have
got the
cohorts. We're off the timing.
Yeah.
And how did you guys both come together? One is PhD and the other is a master's, a bachelor's degree?
Yeah, so our labs are actually next to each other. I work in the Nolan lab for oncology and immunology in the CCSR, and he works in the Stanford Stem Cell Institute. So they're literally separated by a pathway. So we're right next to each other.
And also like during my PhD, I'm finishing up right now, writing my thesis, but I used his software. It works pretty well. That's
all right. Awesome. Good job.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, judges. We're going to be moving to feedback.
Great, and as you note the feedback, we'll be transitioning in a moment to Team Neural Clarity from Cal Berkeley. So as you get set up, I'll introduce that particular team and company. Neural Clarity aims to improve the accuracy and efficiency of mental health diagnoses. Their software reads data from wireless EEG headsets and applies novel machine learning methods to classify states of attention and emotion, ultimately giving clinicians an empirical basis for diagnosis. The revenue model is to charge a monthly subscription fee for the software. And as we give the judges another minute, I'll just ask if Team Neural Clarity is ready to present.
Yes, we are ready.
We're ready.
Terrific.
Should I begin screen sharing?
That would be great. Thank you.
All right, if everyone's ready. Hello, my name is Augustus Dorico, and today we, NeuroClarity, are glad to have the opportunity to talk to you about making mental health diagnosis easy, accurate, and affordable. Right now, 63 million Americans, 63 million, are suffering from mental illness of one form or another. This is a national epidemic. Now, of those 63 million, 1 in 5, 20%, fail to get any treatment whatsoever for the conditions that they're suffering from. We looked deeper into mental health and into ADHD in particular, and what we found is that 1 million children, 1 million American children may have been misdiagnosed for ADHD in the United States. Beyond that, ADHD diagnoses, accurate or not, cost on average $1,600. All of the information available indicates that appropriate treatment, accurate treatment, is difficult and arduous to find, that it is on average inaccurate, the current methods of diagnoses are inaccurate, and these inaccurate and unreliable methods are prohibitively expensive to those in need. These are the reasons why we founded NeuroClarity. We have a 3-step process that aims to make these diagnoses easier, more accurate, and more affordable. And now I'm going to let my friend and co-founder Kyle talk to you about how we're making this happen.
We have a 3-step solution, and it's a 15-minute preliminary diagnosis. It all starts with the placement of a wireless and portable EEG headset on the patient's scalp. This takes just 3 minutes to set up with modern EEG technology. The psychiatrist then conducts a 10-minute resting state analysis on their patient. The headset generates live neural data that can then be fed into our proprietary software. As seen right here. So once it's in the software, 3 things happen. First, the data is filtered and normalized to ensure that we get a proper and accurate signal. This is where the real magic happens. We run novel machine learning algorithms to classify the attentional and emotional states of our patients. Finally, this data is visualized on a dashboard for the psychiatrist to then interpret. Lastly, we create a diagnostic report. This diagnostic report shows the likelihood of ADHD or any diagnosis based on neural and behavioral data. The neural data comes from the EEG, while the behavioral data can be habits such as smoking, drinking coffee, lack of sleep, that are relevant to the psychiatrist's evaluation. Lastly, they analyze the report that we've generated and personalize their diagnosis, suggesting treatment outcomes based on the specific nuanced profile of their patient. In this era of COVID-19, we realize the importance of at-home office consultation. We also plan on empowering psychiatrists to deal with their patients remotely by sending them headsets to their location, guiding them through the process, and then sending the headset back. We think in this way, we can empower at-home remote diagnoses. This is our 3-step solution. We think that it is easy to use, it is more accurate, and it is more affordable than current options. Easy in that it is a 15-minute diagnosis, it is enhanced in its accuracy, better than traditional diagnoses, and it costs only $50 for a 15-minute scan. I will now pass you off to my colleague and co-founder, Alfredo, who can talk about our market, competition, and business model. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kyle. So I guess this all sounds very cool. It also sounds kind of like sci-fi. And some of you, or many of you, might be wondering, does this actually work? Well, in a joint study by the Seattle Children's Hospital, Columbia University, and the University of Washington, they recently found that, quote, from the published paper, integration of this information with a clinician's ADHD evaluation, and by this information, we mean the neurofeedback, it could help improve diagnostic accuracy from 61% to 88% accuracy. So we are happy to report that this technology does work. Next, our initial results. We went further and we started implementing. We started playing around with data sets and using my expertise in machine learning to try and see if we could replicate those results. And we had a specialized ML architecture for the EEG headset added with novel EEG headsets that use 14 electrodes instead of the 2 that our competition is using. And what we got, we are happy to report a 93% accuracy on a test set that had never previously seen before. This technology is clearly superior to an only psychiatric diagnosis. We are not trying to replace the psychiatry, but rather combine them to make a more powerful diagnosis for children with ADHD. Now, we do have some competition. And I want to talk a little about each because I think it's good that they are there. We have MindLift that is trying to categorize mental states. Their difference is that they are not doing this clinically. They are trying to train people within their neural wavelengths, and they are different. Then NeuroCore. NeuroCore has a more similar business model, a more similar technology model as ours in using ML and novel headsets. But their business model is brick and mortar. They currently have 2 stores, and so it's very hard for them to scale up, and it's very hard for them to expand. This is where we excel in comparison to them. And finally, we have Niva Health. Niva Health is very similar to us in what they're trying to do with their technology. Their problem is that their technology from 2012 has not been updated in a while. They are not using novel ML techniques. They are only using 2 electrodes within their device, and they're getting left behind by this technology. But I don't think these are our biggest competitors. I think the biggest competitor in our market, given the results that I just showed you, is ignorance. The ignorance that we can now tap into our brain and combine this with psychiatrists to make children safer of misdiagnosed ADHD. And I think that ignorance is our biggest competitor. And if we can tackle that, the market is big enough for all of us. So now, the market. We have a huge market, and I think the market sizes within the health industry are just in a league of their own. We have a 240 billion global mental health and diagnostic market. Within that, just for the United States, we have an annual spending of $89 billion every year on mental health treatments. And even within that, within our specific niche of ADHD diagnosis, we still are left with an $18 billion market. So how do we plan to take on where you pay per scan, the psychiatrist with their device and with their EEG device pays our software $50 per scan. This is 100% increase. This is a 50% of what they would be charging the customer to do this test for them. But we also have for psychiatrists that are using multiple tests every month, we have an unlimited scan plan where they would be paying $1,500 a month for unlimited scans. This would allow us to both take on small businesses, but also large-scale psychiatric clinics. Now, for future market expansion, what I find impressive about this idea is that ADHD just happened to be something that we were passionate about. But this same technology is easily expandable to so many other things, such as anxiety, all types of mental health, like depression, and even more complicated things like schizophrenia and Parkinson's disease. So one of our first steps after ADHD would be to expand our diagnosis to all mental health disorders and become the leaders of EEG and mental health combination. After that, we want to provide a personalized treatment. The more data that we have, the better treatments that we can have for patients. We can start figuring out someone's brainwaves and whether their treatment worked after several sessions. Once we do this, we can give better and better recommendations. And finally, by doing this and collecting data and improving our system and having the most data, we can make the barrier of entry to our market higher by having the most data, but we can also make a much better product than what is currently on the market. Finally, our investment goal. We are trying to raise a 500,000 safe note at 15% discount with a 3 million cap. That is what we ask of. That is what we are asking for our seed round. Finally, our team. We have my good friends, Kyle Giffen. He has won multiple startup competitions around the world, recently won in Hong Kong. He's also an EEG and fMRI researcher here at UC Berkeley and is extremely passionate about the topic and is currently majoring in cognitive science. Augustus, my other co-founder, went through the UPenn CS Neuroscience Academy. He's also a neuropsychology researcher and is studying data science and cognition. And finally, myself, I am a SWE, currently interning at Google, previously at Facebook, and in between that, I was a researcher at UCSF, researching brainwaves and how they relate to different mental states. I am doing electrical engineering and CS at UC Berkeley. Together, we want to make mental health diagnosis easier, more efficient, and more affordable. Thank you so much for your time, and we are open for questions.
Thank you.
Over to the judges.
Okay, if I may start. I think mental health is a good space, but so is the entire medical delivery, primary care physician and all that for AI. So what I would like to understand better is when you are taking this EEG headset with whatever number of probes, what is that is proprietary, not proprietary, but what is that you have discovered that is presumably is patentable. Is it an algorithm? What is it that makes it so special, and how many parameters are you dealing with when you take the scan?
Right. So what we are currently using is a novel technique that is convolutional neural networks. Within the parameters, I think we are dealing within the millions of parameters. And I think this ML technique, this ML expertise is what differentiates us from not only from our competition, but also the problem with this is that it's currently being done in research and it's not being taken from that research phase. We are still lacking that from research phase to industry, from publishing a research paper saying how these results are very positive to someone taking these results and actually making it useful for a community that needs them the most. And so that is currently the linkage that is not being made. And one of the reasons that is for this, I think it's twofold. First, you have EEG headsets. EEG headsets used to be very complicated machines that would take a whole lab to set up, and it would take around 30 minutes to set up. Nowadays, they are $800 machines that you can put on your head and in 3 minutes have ready to set up. So you have that part, but you also have the advancements of machine learning in the last 4 years. And before that, it was very hard to analyze high dimensional signals like EEG is because we just didn't have the algorithms or the computing power. But with the rise of convolutional neural networks since 2012, and with the rise of other technologies within the machine learning space, we are not now in the last 4 years, we have had more advancements in the auto classification of these mental states than ever before. And those two things are giving us the exact timing to that allows it to do this technology right now.
So do you have to go through any kind of an approval process for this to be put in practice?
I can answer that. Yes. So currently, we mentioned Niba Health. They use EEGs to diagnose ADHD in the past. Like we said, their methods are out of date compared to ours. And what we're looking to do is we're looking to get 510K approval from the FDA. And because their product has already been pushed through as a de novo thing that's classified as okay, it'll probably take about 1 year of testing and bureaucracy to be approved. Yes.
One final question.
So there seems to be a
from the
disconnect
judges.
between. Yeah, so there seems to be a disconnect between healthcare and medical equipment is usually a very expensive proposition. You're only raising 500K. So what are the real milestones for this to be in broader distribution, number one? And number two, I didn't see any mention of what the insurers, what their role is in this category. Do you have a point of view on that, the insurance companies?
Yeah, I can weigh in on that. So your first question pertained to what are the milestones? The milestones are finalizing our front end for the software because we already have the classification algorithms and other neural biomarkers. We need to finish development of the interface and dashboard. After that, what we need to do is get FDA approval, and that's about 1 year, potentially 2 years, given the 510K route. After which, it's going to be a matter of getting it into the hands of psychiatrists to product test.
Kind of a related.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Team NeuroClarity. Over to you, Radhika.
Hi, thanks. So we're going to be moving on to feedback. And as we're waiting for feedback, we're going to bring up our next team, which is Orange Tree Alternative from Stanford University. I'd like to introduce the team. Orange Tree is an online investing platform democratizing private real estate investing and increasing liquidity for private equity securities, all while giving private equity and sponsors easy to access capital. Orange Tree has founded in response to a pain point that their founders noticed while working in the private commercial real estate industry. They have plans on creating a new investment vehicle each time a sponsor wishes to post an offering on the platform.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Sterling, if you want to get started whenever, I'm ready.
Yep, I'm waiting for the judges to finish their feedback. Are they done?
Judges, are you finished with the feedback? Maybe give it another minute. Right, Sterling, would you like to kick it off?
So, hi, I'm Sterling, and my company is Orange Tree Alternatives. We're an online investing platform democratizing private real estate investing and increasing liquidity for private equity securities while giving sponsors easy access to capital. Private equity has been historically exclusive and inefficient in matching investors with sponsors. Traditionally, prospective investors who do not have connections to the private industry would find it virtually impossible to find high-performing funds to invest in. Not only that, investors are expected to commit hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to invest. However, Orange Tree Alternatives will disrupt this antiquated and exclusive good old boys club by decreasing the barriers to investing for a historically untapped target market. Orange Tree will act as a fund of funds or as a single limited partner or LP, allowing low commitment investors to participate in exclusive private real estate investments. Unlike traditional broker-dealer channels who simply ignore low-commitment investors, Orange Tree will allow low-commitment investors such as person A on the left to invest in our investment vehicles, which will then be fully invested in high-performing exclusive real estate investments. We will provide shares just like any other traditional broker-dealer, the only difference being the ability to invest less money at a much lower fee structure. However, let's say you're person A and you fall in hard times like a divorce or an illness and desire liquidity from your Orange Tree investment. Through our secondary marketplace, you can now get connected to an interested buyer like person B in order to sell your shares. Because we structure our own funds, we make it very easy to gain liquidity when life asks for it. I will now let my co-founder Ryan explain the problems and solutions associated with our target markets.
So let's first approach the problem from the perspective of a private equity firm that's raising capital. As a firm, you're raising money from a large number of limited partners, and the problem here is twofold. So first, raising capital has become more difficult in recent years. Only 181 real estate funds closed in 2019 versus 337 in 2017. And in the post-COVID era, we anticipate that raising capital for commercial real estate is only going to be more difficult at the same time that there will be a surplus of distressed debt funds. Not only that, but because there can be up to thousands of investors per fund, managing LPs is often time consuming. Third, based on interviews that we've conducted with industry insiders, we know that investors often request liquidity and want to sell their shares in a fund midway through a target hold. This places pressure on the firm to either uphold the investor in their contractual obligation or give leniency and deal with the inconvenience of buying back shares. So how does Orange Tree address these pain points? By providing a platform with thousands of interested investors, sponsors will have an easy way to raise a large amount of capital for an offering. Instead of having to reach out to LPs themselves, they can leave that work to us. Second, by leveraging the power of a large number of investors, Orange Tree can come in with a larger capital commitment than most individual LPs. This reduces friction for the firm and makes it more convenient for investor management. Third, by having a secondary marketplace where investors can trade shares of investments with each other, firms will face less pressure to buy back shares. So let's now approach the problem from the perspective of an investor. After conducting hundreds of calls with investors to learn their pain points, we realized that there were three main questions and pain points that investors ask themselves. First, do I have around $200,000 for a minimum commitment? If the answer is no, then I simply can't invest in most cases. Second, is there a chance I'll need my money within 5 to 10 years? If the answer is yes, and I still choose to invest, then I risk illiquidity if the sponsor doesn't buy back my shares. And third, is the amount of capital I'm committing worth a $10,000 origination fee, 2% asset management fee, and a share of overall return? If the answer is no, then I'm significantly overpaying in fees. So Orange Tree addresses all three of these pain points for our investors. Our platform will have a minimum commitment of $10,000, which is an order of magnitude less than required through the traditional broker-dealer channel. And to reiterate, our secondary marketplace means that if I need money 3 years into a 7-year hold, I can trade my shares with other investors in the platform. Finally, because we're automating many steps of the investment process, we're able to have a significantly lower fee structure. It's critical that our platform provides all of these value propositions for investors, because the more investors are on our platform, the more attractive it is for sponsors to list on it, which in turn attracts more investors to the platform's many offerings. We will take advantage of this self-improving cycle to leverage growth, and with over $900 billion in assets under management, the real estate private equity market is ripe with the opportunity to do so.
So our current competition includes Equity Multiple, Cadre, and CrowdStreet. While many of our competitors also try to apply creative solutions to be a more attractive option than traditional broker-dealer channels through lowering fees and providing liquidity solutions, we believe these companies still fall short on the ideal solution. Both Equity Multiple and CrowdStreet offers no liquidity solutions for investments that can be up to 10-year hold periods. While Cadre offers liquidity through a secondary market, they only offer their services who can write checks to investors who can write checks of $50,000 or more, a task that many of the 16 million American households that qualify as accredited investors simply cannot do. The private equity real estate industry is a $900 billion industry and provides humongous market opportunity for our product. Orange Tree will be primarily targeting low commitment investors, which includes any accredited household who makes less than $500,000 per year, roughly 15 million American households. If just 10% of those households in our total addressable market are interested in private equity real estate investing, then that would provide a service addressable market of 1.5 million American households. We believe that within this market, we can reasonably convert 10% by offering a superior product with wide-reaching advantages, which puts our service operational market at around 150,000 households. So in order to provide a superior service to our target market, we're definitely going to have to find a way to make money. This is why we will only charge a 1.5% ongoing asset management fee to our investors, as well as take 10% of their promote, which is the excess return above the preferred return rate. That way, we make money when our customers make money. Additionally, we will supplement this income stream by charging sponsors a $5,000 onboarding fee to cover any overhead associated with adding new investments to the platform, as well as charging 20 to 30% of the sponsor's promote as well. We believe that within 1 year of our product release, we will be able to capture 1,000 users, which would amount to about 20 million invested capital, resulting in $350,000 in revenue by the end of 2021. We are intentionally pricing below competition to attract as many customers as we can. We will eventually add recurring revenue streams by implementing a subscription-based revenue model, which will give subscribers early access to investing and other premium features on our platform. So our team includes both myself and Ryan. We also have 2 software developers who have significant experience coding for financial institutions such as Citibank, and whose work has been featured in Forbes magazine. Our angel and mentor has multiple decades of experience in the private commercial real estate industry, is the CEO of a large real estate private equity firm in Atlanta, and will be able to help bring our first sponsors and investors to the platform through his professional connections. We additionally have 2 interns who are students at the University of Notre Dame and specialize in marketing and customer engagement to help bring buzz to our initial product launch.
So our go-to market strategy will largely be incremental. Between June and September, we have plans to create our MVP of the platform and onboard at least 1 sponsor. And then between October and December, we plan on leveraging the sponsor in our initial beta launch with a limited number of investors that our mentor will help us acquire to prove our concept. Leveraging this momentum and credibility, in 2021, we plan on building off this initial group to incrementally and organically grow our platform with the goal of having 500 to 1,000 investors by the end of the year. So these are just a couple of the functionality mockups that we've designed and envisioned to give you a sense of how our platform will operate. On the left is a primary marketplace with the list of offerings, and on the right is an investment portfolio for a hypothetical investor. We'll be using beautiful React UI packs and working with a UI designer to enhance the design and provide a seamless experience for investors. So we anticipate our expected cost for the next 12 months to total just under $500,000. This number includes our plans to hire a financial analyst and accountant to help vet investments and prepare tax forms, web hosting and API fees, targeted advertising to relevant investor groups, legal due diligence, and web development to build out the platform, starting with the primary marketplace, but also extending to the secondary marketplace starting next year. With $200,000 in committed capital, our remaining ask is for $300,000 in the form of a convertible note with a $3 million cap and 20% discount. We're confident this will give us the runway to build out both the platform and the overall product in an efficient and effective manner. So these are our immediate next steps between June and September. We'll be working with our front-end and back-end developers to iterate through the development of our MVP. Second, we'll be working with our interns who are being paid with Notre Dame grant money to reach out to Stanford and Notre Dame alumni networks to share our product in advance of the initial launch, which will help us build a group of initial investors. Third, our mentor and angel investor will assist us with onboarding sponsors and investors through his vast network in the private equity space. We're eager to continue onwards, and with that, we'd like to thank the judges for their time and hope that you all share our vision in democratizing and liquidizing private equity industries. Thank you.
So Ryan and Sterling, let me try to understand this. Are you a secondary marketplace like SharesPost for private equity offerings which are not tradable?
That is correct. We are both a primary marketplace where the sponsor will be able to sell their shares to our users, but also a secondary marketplace where users will be able to do owner-to-owner transfers to other users on our platform. We are similar to Cadre, and I'm not sure about the competitor that you mentioned, but there are other secondary marketplaces specifically more tailored for VC. And so we believe that we could bring this sort of secondary marketplace to commercial real estate, which hasn't been done before.
I mean, just to give an example, like for example, SharesPost and Forge is a very new company, by the way, and is doing very well. They actually merged. What they do is, let's take, 123, or let's take any of the startup companies like Airbnb or whatever. These are offered for purchase to investors on the secondary market, subject to approval by and who you call a sponsor is basically the company who says, okay, we're okay with this. People out there with some shares can go sell their shares, okay? And then they set a price and there's a service charge and all that. And so what I'm understanding is you're doing the same thing, but if someone has an ownership in a REIT, for example, and they want to get out of their share for whatever reason, they can go put it out onto this marketplace, correct?
No, that is not correct.
No.
So as a sort of a value prop and business strategy, our users will only be able to trade shares if they purchase through Orange Tree. So if they actually own a portion of an Orange Tree investment, which would then be fully invested in some sponsor, then they would be able to trade those shares. The legal technicalities associated with trading shares that are not our own investment vehicles is almost insurmountable. And so that would be very difficult to implement in that way.
Oh, I see. So so you also source the original transaction?
Yes.
Okay. By doing so, who would give me an example of who would come out there to sell to LPs? Give an example.
So any sort of commercial real estate development firm, so maybe a company that builds multifamily developments, maybe Amazon data warehouses, any sort of industrials, container ships, hotels, anything. Those sponsors originally through a traditional broker-dealer channel would go cold call investors, send emails, go to investment conferences, and try and sell their shares.
So let's narrow it down. Let's take a 200 unit condo on El Camino Real in Santa Clara, right?
Sure.
So, and these guys want to go sell, and then they want investors because they need to raise some capital money. So they go and put this on your platform.
Correct.
And then they take these smaller investors who can come in $20,000 at a time and can invest in this project, correct?
Yes, this is correct.
And then there's a fee associated and all that stuff, the usual stuff. And now you're saying in return, later on, if they want to get out of it, they use the same platform to sell it to another investor.
Yes, absolutely.
Judges, I think we're at time, unfortunately. So time to move to feedback.
And as you move to feedback, we're doing our best to keep the journey on track with an eye towards the clock. And we'd like to ask Team Milkmaid to begin to prepare to share your screen. And while the judges are preparing their feedback, I'll go ahead and introduce Team Milkmaid from Stanford University. Milkmaid is a femtech company creating a data-driven tech product leveraging artificial intelligence to solve the pain points of motherhood. Their first product, a smart bib that makes breastfeeding easier for moms as it connects to a mobile app and tells moms how much breast milk their baby is consuming. They created this product to fix the issue of volume displacement that occurs with breastfeeding, which makes a mother anxious if their baby has the proper amount of breast milk. Really pleased to introduce Team Milkmaid.
Hello, thanks so much for having us. We are the co-founders of Milkmaid. So my name is Maureen, and I'm currently studying management science and engineering at Stanford. My previous experience lies in medical device development, and I've completed other internships in venture capital and private equity as well.
My name is Ari, and I am a graduating senior majoring in biomechanical engineering at Stanford. And I have done a lot of work in baby tech development, including filing patents and also publishing my research. So Maureen and I are part of the Launchpad Accelerator at Milkmaid at Stanford, which has a 10% acceptance rate. And we are the second undergraduate team to be admitted in the 11 years of the program. And so for about 6 months, I shadowed in the NICU. And when I did that, I realized that every mom that I encountered, regardless of their background, wanted to know how much their baby was getting while breastfeeding. And nurses and lactation consultants and pediatricians would assure them by saying, just trust your body. And so for those of you who don't know, breastfeeding decreases the risk of asthma, obesity, childhood cancers, diabetes, and sudden infant death syndrome. And so unlike bottle feeding, although intuitive, moms can't actually see how much their baby is getting when breastfeeding. And so this means that when they're actually breastfeeding, the baby can be sucking at the nipple and actually not be getting anything at all. And so exclusively breastfed infants are 2 times more likely to be hospitalized due to malnutrition. This concern and this anxiety that the baby isn't getting enough leads 60% of mothers to quit breastfeeding. So with more than 1 million women, millennial women becoming mothers each year who are so used to metric-driven products that they know how many steps they take in a day, this problem is only getting bigger, and there isn't a good solution. So we are introducing Milkmaid, a smart bib that uses artificial intelligence to tell moms exactly how much their baby is getting while breastfeeding. Our patent-pending smart bib has an embedded sensor, you can see here, and it's a little piece of plastic almost, and it's wrapped into the smart bib, and the mom uses it on the baby, and the AI then analyzes the data, and the app can communicate real-time consumption data to the mother. And so not only is it an immediacy of real-time consumption, but currently moms are going to Google to look at YouTube videos or Motherly to find long-term support. And so our solution has online, on-demand lactation consultant booking appointments, as well as curated content and helpful tutorials that combines it all into one place. So we've done a lot of market validation for this. We've talked to over 100 lactation consultants, moms, and pediatricians, and 80% of lactation consultants would support our product. 90% of pediatricians recommend it, and 95% of moms would buy it.
So we have 3 main revenue streams. Our first one is selling our patent pending bib for $149 each. This gives us an 80% profit margin. Our second revenue stream is our mobile app. We'll take in ad revenue in addition to specialist booking fees and online sale commissions. And lastly, we'll sell anonymized data to insurance companies who can then use it to help price their insurance rates. Currently, the solutions that are out there on the market are really inaccurate and hard to use. So for example, typically a mom or a lactation consultant or a pediatrician will use an infant scale to gauge how much their baby consumed during a session. However, as you can probably imagine, babies pee and babies poo, and they do this when they breastfeed as well. And in addition, these scales need to be very, very precise. However, in order to purchase a precise and accurate scale, it can cost up to $1,500. So this isn't a feasible solution for all moms. Second, we have CoraFlow. CoraFlow embedded a sensor on a nipple shield. It's not released out there on the market yet. However, we believe that they won't gain much market traction. And the reason is the majority of medical professionals, such as pediatricians and lactation consultants alike, strongly disapprove of the long-term use of nipple shields. And lastly, we have MomSense. MomSense is a startup that launched 5 years ago. They embedded a sensor on a headphone set, and its accuracy rate is only 68%. However, as you can probably imagine, moms don't want wires around their baby, especially when they're breastfeeding. So as a result, due to its low accuracy rate and due to this design flaw, they didn't gain much market traction. So we as Milkmaid have 3 competitive advantages. The first one is our 90% accuracy rate, which we had gathered using data from over 100 moms and babies. Second, it is easier to use and it's more natural to the process. We have no wires, the baby can be crying, the baby can be pooping and peeing, and it will still work. And lastly, it is 10 times cheaper than the leading solution on the market, which I had mentioned before, costs $1,500. So far we have over 1,000 moms on our wait list. And we've been flooded with comments from new moms, from old moms, to lactation consultants, to pediatricians, and from writers. So for example, a writer for What to Expect When You're Expecting, which is the leading series that all moms buy. It's literally like the Bible. They said, this is a product that all my readers ask for. The leading lactation consultant in the United States, Dr. Jay Morton, said that this has the potential to impact and improve the breastfeeding journey of all women. And a pediatrician also said, this can provide a lot of peace of mind for breastfeeding mothers. And moms also have said, I need one now, or I wouldn't have had to switch to formula if I had this. So clearly there is both a need and there is a strong demand for Milkmaid. So the total US market size for the baby tech industry is $46 billion. And when we segment the breastfeeding tech industry, it totals to over $316 million. And we believe that we can capture 15% of this market share in year 5. And this is because we believe that our technology is best suited for this application. We believe that there's no technology that is better and able to more accurately pinpoint the breast milk consumption of babies. And our lawyers are confident that we will be able to secure very strong intellectual property rights over our technology. So as a result, we expect that our target revenue in year 5 will be over $50 million. And this means that we will have to sell over 237,000 units. However, we believe that we can do this because Owlet, which is a baby tech wearable sock essentially, which is priced at over $300, was able to sell 150,000 units within its 3rd year. So first of all, we will be using social media marketing with mom influencers and ads. Our average cost for acquiring a customer is $4. And we'll also be pitching to pediatricians and lactation consultants, establishing these relationships so that they can recommend our product. And as a result, we'll drive this traffic to our online website where we will be exclusively selling our product. So why now? Well, due to COVID-19, 30% of all ambulatory visits are now provided with telemedicine, but there's still a 62% decrease in pediatric visits. Well, there's 2 reasons for this. First of all, moms don't want to bring their newborns into an environment where there's an increased risk of COVID-19. In addition, moms don't have the tools at home to measure growth and development of a baby. So as a result, even if they wanted to see a pediatrician online, they can't. And we believe that even as the risk of COVID-19 decreases, telemedicine is here to stay. And we believe that Milkmaid will drive pediatric visits to join this movement. We have 2 advisors so far. The first one is Dr. Crummell. He is the director of the biodesign program at Stanford and the former chief of surgery at Lucile Packard Children's Hospital, which is the children's hospital at Stanford. And we also have Melissa Chazen. She's a registered nurse and a certified lactation consultant at Lucile Packard. We believe that these 2 people bring immense insights because they work with moms and infants alike on a daily basis. So they know this market really, really well. So what's next for us? Well, currently we are conducting more user testing and finalizing our product. Throughout the summer, we aim to sell and manufacture our first 500 bibs and also publish the research study that we've been working on, which tested the efficacy and the accuracy of our product with over 100 participants. And throughout the fall and the winter, we will hope to manufacture and sell 1,500 bibs, release a community feature on the app, pitch to pediatricians and lactation consultants to establish these relationships. And throughout early next year, our goal is to sell over 3,000 bibs and roll out a lactation booking feature on our app. So we are currently asking for $10,000, and these $10,000 can help us first upfront the cost of manufacturing and selling our first 500 bibs, and then also upfronting some of the cost of selling our 1,500 bibs for the winter and the fall. And then we'll also use this to help develop the community feature and the lactation booking feature on our app. And we believe that this $1,000 prize of this pitch competition would get us a tenth of the way there. And what does this 10K look like in terms of financial projections? Well, first of all, it would be able to double our revenue and EBITDA in 2020 because we will be able to release all these features and also upfront the cost of manufacturing all of these bibs. And as a result of the strong network effects within this specific industry, moms talk a lot, if you can probably imagine. So once we're able to get more people to use our product and use our app from the beginning, we'll be able to multiply our growth that much higher. So as a result, we'll be able to 2 times our gross revenue and our EBITDA in year 2020. And also these are long-term effects as well. So in 2024, we'll also be able to 1.25x our revenue and EBITDA as well. So thank you so much for listening to our presentation, and we are excited to participate in this pitch competition, and we'd love to hear your feedback and your questions.
Thank you. Over to the judges.
Thank you very much.
Hey,
It's a
guys.
really interesting presentation. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so a couple of questions, I think. One is, so what do you expect your relationship with the customer to be? Is it just during the time when the child is, breastfeeding, or do you expect to have a relationship with the mom after that?
Yeah.
And then, yes, second question, which is sort of related, is, are you anticipating that your own product will compete against you in a secondary market? Like, will the mom try to resell the product for half the price or something like that, and then it will compete with you with another mom?
2 very great questions. So to answer your first question well, actually, to answer your second question first, we will be basically selling a subscription for those who resell the bib. So if the bib connects to another phone, we will be able to tell when that happens, and then you'll be prompted with a monthly subscription of $100. So as a result, you'll be able to, we won't be necessarily cannibalizing our own market through that. And then I'm sorry, what was your first question?
Oh, my first question was like the length of engagement you have with a particular customer, like when the baby grows up and then stops breastfeeding.
Right.
Continuing to sell something to that mom?
Yeah, so we aim to be more than just this one product. We want to be a femtech company. And we think that motherhood is a particularly challenging journey, and there's lots of potential to innovate. So I think our next product would be within the toddler range. So this can be from, potty training, which I've heard is a very challenging experience, or introducing solid foods can be really difficult after your child has been sticking to formula or breastfeeding. So we hope that with this initial product, we'll be able to capture the loyalty of moms and then continue to build upon that relationship. And our goal is to introduce a new product every 1 or 2 years that grows along with our customers.
Interesting. Thank you.
So I love the passion and the energy. Great presentation. Question, you both mentioned femtech and baby tech, great categories. There seems to be an opportunity here to also do a lot more social impact, right? The breastfeeding is something that, especially lower income families or countries can have a huge impact on health. $150 seems very pricey. Any thoughts on how this can be made more widely available so that it can both broader distribution and frankly have a much bigger social impact?
Yeah. So I think that, first of all, you're spot on. I think that, first of all, as founders, we do care about this problem so much because of our own personal interactions with moms. So I think that we've been talking a lot about maybe like a Tom's business model, where when you buy one, you also give one. And as shown by 80% profit margin, like we can definitely afford to do that. And I think that this also presents a unique opportunity for hospitals themselves to also potentially purchase them and provide them for specific families that are low income, of course. And then third of all, there is the option of trying to get this reimbursed by insurance. There is a code that is existing. It might be a little bit of a stretch to necessarily apply an existing insurance code, but I think that with some time and money spent, we could potentially get this reimbursed, like, for example, breast pumps are.
Awesome. Thank you.
I have a quick comment, guys. Really great product. I think, as Avinash mentioned, something which is definitely very tactical as well as strategic, and also of great importance, also making the social impact. One little question I had was just for you to figure out what kind of electronics are there, and if there's anything at all, and I'm not sure, which will harm either the baby or the mom or whatever. So you might just want to be aware of that and make sure proper regulations are followed. That's all.
Yes, absolutely. And we have been doing very arduous testing to make sure that it is safe. And we completely agree with that.
No, there's actual approvals. I mean, it may be low cost electronics or low frequency electronics, but we actually have FCC and these kind of UL CE marks, which is actual electrical standards, which whenever you have some electronics, you need to go through that process and make sure it's safe.
So the electronics have actually been used in research studies and like commercially before on humans. So I think that it would probably approve, but we will definitely look into that for infants.
Yeah, especially with an infant. Yeah. Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you, Team Milkmaid. Really appreciate it. And over to you, Radhika. Close us out.
Well, I personally have been super impressed by all of these 9 teams, very well prepared, great presentation. So kudos to all the teams, bravo, and all the best on your future journeys, whatever win or lose. I'm sure you'll go on to great successes in the future. Audience, thank you so much for listening in to these great pitches. Judges, thank you so much for judging these great teams and the great feedback and advice along the way as well. Some great tips that have been shared. So we also want to hear from our audience thoughts regarding these presentations. So if you'd like to scan or use the link to access the Google form, we'd like you to do that. And so those are the links and the QR codes on the screen in front of you. As an audience, if you are interested in participating in future TYE programs, we'd love to hear from you. This is a volunteer-run sort of organization. So if you're interested in helping out with future TYE projects, please register to become a volunteer. And I also wanted to thank the founders of TYE University and the founders of this event for putting on such an amazing event. And I also want to thank my co-MC Tina for such a great job. Thank you all. And I think we want to thank the mentors too. Can't forget the mentors as well, who've helped advise and provide valuable feedback and input while these teams have been preparing. So don't forget to join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. For the award ceremony, and a big drum roll awaiting that.
Thank you, Radhika. Looking
you,
forward
Radhika.
for tomorrow. And maybe the judges, if you guys want to join the Google Hangout so that we can deliberate on the selections. Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys.
Very much.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a good rest of the day.